Chapter 1945. Tuoba Tiance's complexion was terrifyingly dark. He gnashed his teeth, and his body trembled. He couldn't accept this failure. However, now wasn't the time to make a move. He could only coldly snort and quickly leave. The 10,000 lightning holy sun turned into a bolt of lightning and left. He didn't want to be bullied here. However, he also decided to deal with Tuoba Tianci after the stone gambling convention. Although the others were also envious of the divine crystals, they didn't dare to make a move on Lin Xian right now. Lin Xian was now in high demand. The 10,000 lightning holy ground, 5 elements sect, Ouyang family clan, Huangfu family clan, and other peak powers all extended an olive branch to him. However, Lin Xian tactfully rejected all of them. He still had proper business to attend to, and that was to go to the All Beginnings holy ground. Half a day later, Lin Xian was pleasantly surprised to see that the All Beginnings holy ground had also sent someone over. Just like the other sects, they had invited Lin Xian to the All Beginnings holy ground as a guest. Lin Xian thought about this request for a moment. Then, he nodded his head and agreed. It just so happened that he wanted to go to the All Beginnings holy ground anyway. Now that the other party had taken the initiative to invite him, it couldn't be any better. In the following days, Lin Xian didn't continue to gamble on stones. After all, he was in too much of the limelight right now. Therefore, he decided to stay in Morong Qingcheng's small house. The two of them chatted about love and Tao. They passed their days in leisure. Finally, the Grand Stone Gambling Convention came to an end. The experts of the 5 great sage lands, Tuoba family clan, Ouyang family clan, and Huangfu family clan. The peak-seeking spirit masters of these clans had all been invited by the All Beginnings holy ground. Lin Xian was also among them. The All Beginnings holy ground was a peerless holy ground of the southern domain. After entering the All Beginnings holy ground, Lin Xian didn't have the leisure to admire the mountains and rivers. Instead, he was transmitting his voice to Lu Mingyue. Lu Mingyue was also very excited. Although she was inside the Black Earth, she had already spread her soul power out. She didn't expect Lin Xian to come in so quickly. It was really out of her expectations. The people of the All Beginnings Holy Land invited Lin Xian, the 5 great sage clans, and the 3 great spirit master clans inside. He arranged for them to rest on the mountain peak. The purpose of this invitation was, firstly, to allow the great sage to interact with each other. Moreover, there were several stones in the All Beginnings Holy Land. Therefore, they asked these peak experts and powerful spirit-seeking masters to examine them, speculating whether or not there was a treasure inside, and what kind of treasure was inside. Lin Xian also stayed for the time being. However, what he didn't know was that there was an enormous mountain peak in the All Beginnings Holy Land that resembled a giant sword that reached the heavens. This was the peak of the 5th bloodline. Above them were the experts of the 5th bloodline. Among them, in a few huge palaces, there were experts who opened their eyes. Stars flickered in their eyes. Hoo. These experts frowned. Why do I feel Lu Mingyu's presence? Indeed, according to the formation, that slut seems to have come to the All Beginnings Holy Land. How is that possible? We've laid down an inescapable net in the southern region. Not even a fly can fly in. How did she come in? Could it be related to the Stone Gambling Convention? Our Holy Land has invited a lot of people in the past 2 days. Perhaps that slut is among them. Damn it! We must find her. We must not let her meet the people of the 7th bloodline. Orders were issued one after another. The people of the 5th bloodline began to move in secret. They weren't the only ones. The people of the 7th bloodline were also overjoyed. The people of the 5th bloodline had a formation that could detect Lu Mingyu's whereabouts. Moreover, they were even more attentive than the people of the 5th bloodline. After all, Lu Mingyue was their future hope. Therefore, when Lu Mingyue entered the Holy Land, they sensed her presence. Immediately, they dispatched experts to secretly meet with Lu Mingyue. At night, the starry sky flickered. On the mountain peak, a cool breeze blew. It was somewhat chilly. Lin Xian wasn't together with Morong Qingcheng. After all, he was still concealing his identity. As for Morong Qingcheng, she was the holy daughter of the Jade Lake Holy Land. In front of everyone, It was impossible for the two of them to be together. Therefore, he chose a mountain peak for himself. How is it? Is it done? Lin Xian asked. It's done. I've already sent a sound transmission to the people of the 7th bloodline. I believe they will come to pick me up soon. Lu Mingyu's voice transmitted from the black earth. Boom. However, at that moment, the space above their heads started to ripple rapidly like seawater. A mysterious power surged out in all directions. Immediately after, a black-clothed man appeared in the sky. He was like a ghost. Incomparably black holes flickered around him. Although he was incomparably powerful, he concealed his aura very well. He didn't alarm the other experts. However, Lin Xian's soul power was extremely powerful. He instantly sensed the black-clothed man. In the next instant, he raised his head and his pupils shrank. He's here. Lin Xian was extremely shocked. He didn't expect the other party to find him so quickly. Judging from the killing intent, it was definitely not from Lu Mingyu's sect. It should be someone from the 5th bloodline. Lu Mingyue, UB*TCH. I didn't expect you to be able to come here. It's really beyond my expectations. However, I won't let you meet the people of the 7th bloodline. A cold voice sounded, carrying a biting cold killing intent. Then, black-clothed figures appeared in all directions on the mountain peak. Those people's auras were terrifying and powerful. They formed seals with their palms, and a strange energy was emitted. It formed a huge formation that enveloped the entire mountain range. Oh no! Seeing this formation, Lin Xian frowned. He could naturally sense that this was a kind of isolation formation. They were fighting here, and the people outside shouldn't be able to sense it. In the next moment, he hurriedly summoned the dark red dragon and had it break the formation. At the same time, Lin Xian let out a long roar. The aura on his body suddenly erupted, and a shocking sword chi rushed upward. Boom! However, the black-clothed man above shouted coldly. He clapped his palms, and a huge hand appeared out of thin air. Like a mountain, it collided with the shocking sword chi. Then, the sword chi that filled the sky was shattered. Along with it came the pressure of an almighty, as well as a terrifying power. It's useless. In front of me, you're like ants. Today, you're not going anywhere. Kill them. With that order, the black-clothed men around him moved quickly. Boom boom boom. Half of the black-clothed men formed seals with their palms to maintain the formation. The other half of the black-robed men unleashed powerful energy, transforming into bolts of black lightning that charged towards Lin Xian. Whoosh! Lin Xian waved his sleeve, and dozens of sword chi flew out. At the same time, Lu Mingyue also came out of the black earth and displayed her powerful strength. Boom boom boom. The collision between the two was earth-shattering. However, the array formation concealed everything. From the outside, the entire mountain was quiet, and there was not the slightest movement. Chapter 1946. The auras of these figures were also very powerful. Their target was also the mountain where Lin Xian was. Lu Mingyue should be on that mountain. They could not sense Lu Mingyu's aura. Could something have happened? Let's speed up. The figures looked anxious. They realized that Lu Mingyu's aura had been concealed, which gave them a bad feeling. In the next moment, they could not help but speed up. However, they were soon stopped by someone. Junior brothers and sisters, where are you going? An old voice sounded. Senior brother Lu. Damn it, you people from the 5th bloodline have also received the news. Hehe, I advise you not to go. Lu Mingyue is also a sinner of our sacred ground. For such a person, we should capture and kill her on the spot. How dare you? One of the middle-aged men shouted angrily. Why wouldn't I dare? The void fluctuated, and an old man appeared. Although he was old, his eyes were shining with a powerful aura. He was wearing a dark blue Taoist robe with mysterious Taoist patterns on it. With a light stomp of his foot, blue ripples spread out like seawater, forming a domain. It quickly enveloped the entire surroundings. Seeing this scene, the pupils of the experts from the 7th bloodline constricted. Everyone, break out of the encirclement. The middle-aged man shouted coldly. Then, the few of them moved and rushed in all directions. It's useless. You can't escape. The old man in the blue star robe sneered, and the center of his eyes became illusory. Then, in the void, Streaks of blue ripples spun rapidly like ocean waves, completely trapping the experts of the 7 lineages. On the mountain peak below, Lin Xian held the demon sword in his hand and blocked the attacks of the 6 men in black. He quickly asked, "Why haven't the people from the 5th bloodline arrived yet?" Bang! Lu Mingyue waved her palm and sent the 3 of them flying. At the same time, she said, "According to the time, they should be here soon. Could it be that an accident has happened?" After hearing this, the old man in black sneered disdainfully. "Don't count on the people from the 7th bloodline. They won't come." "What?" Hearing this, Lin Xian frowned. It seemed that the people of the 5th bloodline had intercepted them. This was not good news at all. After all, this place was none other than the All Beginnings Holy Land. No matter how strong he was, it was impossible for him to contend with these people in the Holy Land's territory. Therefore, they had to break out. As soon as the people of the 7th bloodline arrived, Lu Mingyue would meet them, and Lin Xian would leave on the Black Earth. Kill. Therefore, Lin Xian did not hesitate and unleashed an ultimate strike. The terrifying sword Qi whistled and let out a roar that made one's heart tremble. Then, like a long dragon, it swept across the sky. Pung pung pung. The 6 black-clothed men beside him were sent flying by the sword. Damn it, how can this kid be so powerful? The 6 black-clothed men's faces were incomparably solemn. Humph. In the sky, the black-robed mighty figure snorted coldly. He had also discovered that Lin Xian's strength was beyond his expectations. Therefore, the mighty figure in black decided to do it himself. He stretched out his palm, and the black palm rapidly enlarged. It was incomparably black, resembling a primordial devil mountain. Its aura was terrifying as it rapidly pressed downwards. Whoosh! Lin Xian used the heavenly dragon's 8 steps and turned into a stream of light. He quickly dodged and stabbed out with his sword. Humph! The black-robed mighty figure sneered disdainfully. He was powerful, and his opponent was merely a little king. How dare he attack him? He was truly courting death. In the next moment, he pressed down with his palm. Instantly, the incomparably black devil palm turned into black flames and rushed toward the sword Qi. Boom! The collision between the two was earth-shattering. One after another, pitch-black cracks appeared in the sky. In the end, the sword Qi was shattered. As for the pitch-black devil palm, it also flew for a while before disappearing into the void. He was actually able to block it. The black-robed mighty figure furrowed his brows. A little king was able to block his attack. It was simply too inconceivable. No wonder you could come to the Holy Land. As expected, you have some skills. However, do you think you can defeat me with just this? The black-robed mighty figure sneered. Then his body shone with light. Strands of primal chaos energy appeared and formed 8 primal chaos heads. They were incomparably malevolent, just like demonic beasts. A terrifying primal chaos energy filled the sky. Then, the wonton head spat out 8 primal chaos demonic figures. Each of them wielded a sword and saber. They were incomparably powerful and charged toward Lin Xian. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian sucked in a deep breath. He also had a wonton clone standing in front of him. Suddenly, 3 clones rapidly appeared. Boom! An intense collision occurred. Countless rays of light flashed in the sky, and a terrifying aura suppressed the surroundings. Damn it! You actually know how to use the primal chaos secret technique. The black-robed mighty figure's expression changed. He was too shocked. Meat stew was a secret technique of the All Beginnings Holy Land. How could his opponent know how to use it? Could it be that slut Lu Mingyue gave it to him? The black-robed mighty figure's expression turned cold. He had decided that he had to kill his opponent. He could not allow this secret technique to be spread. On the other side, the dark red divine dragon was rapidly breaking through the array formation. Although the array formation formed by the black-robed men was profound, it still had flaws in front of the dark red divine dragon. Crack! Not long after, a small crack appeared on the entire formation, due to the dark red Shinong. Although it was only a small crack, it was more than enough. The dark red dragon roared, and a terrifying dragon roar transmitted through the crack. Roar! A single roar caused the earth to tremble. In an instant, the roar rushed out of the array formation and spread throughout the All Beginnings Holy Land. At this moment, countless powerful auras surged. One figure after another flew into the sky. They were all extremely shocked. What's going on with this roar? Could it be that a demonic beast has entered? Damn it! Who is it that dares to cause trouble in the All Beginnings Holy Land? Furious roars resounded one after another. Everyone became even more puzzled. Damn it! Inside the array formation, the black-robed mighty figure's expression was incomparably unsightly. He had not expected that the other party would be able to break through their array formation so quickly. Moreover, his voice was transmitted outside. This was something that he had not expected. Kill. At this moment, he could no longer care about anything else. He had to kill Lu Mingyue as soon as possible. Otherwise, things would become troublesome once the people from the 7th bloodline arrived. Therefore, the black-robed mighty figure turned into a streak of light. With a pitch-black death scythe in his hand, he rapidly slashed toward Lu Mingyue. Buzz! As for Lin Xian, he used Heavenly Dragon's 8 steps and arrived beside Lu Mingyue in advance. Then, he used the black earth to store Lu Mingyue. Shua! In the next instant, he disappeared into the void. Just as he disappeared, a black death scythe appeared and cut through the void. Ah! Damn brat! Get out here! The black-robed mighty figure roared crazily. He was about to go crazy from anger. The surrounding black-robed mighty figures also joined forces to kill Lin Xian. Chapter 1947. Shock. None of them were a match for Lin Xian. Roar. At this time, the Crimson Divine Dragon roared twice more. Its voice was vast and mighty, spreading for thousands of miles. It was like thunder causing one's soul to tremble. What a terrifying roar. What kind of monster beast is this? Isn't it too terrifying? Everyone was shocked. As for the All Beginnings Holy Land's martial artists, they were finally unable to sit still. They followed the sound and quickly flew towards the mountain peak. Not far away, the expressions of the experts from the 7th bloodline also changed. Could it be Mingyue? Humph. The star-robed old man's expression was ice-cold. He had naturally discovered that the direction the roar was coming from was where Lu Mingyue was. However, wasn't that place already surrounded by almighty experts? How could there still be a change? He truly couldn't understand. But before long, 2 streaks of light appeared in the distance. An enormous aura rapidly burst forth and flew over. It's someone from the 7th bloodline. Seeing this scene, the star-robed old man's expression became even more gloomy. He knew that it would be difficult for him to succeed today. Thus, he sighed and disappeared into the void. As he disappeared, the star-like vortexes in the sky also rapidly disappeared. We're saved. The experts from the 7th bloodline breathed a sigh of relief. There was nothing they could do about it. Their senior brother was simply too terrifying. Fortunately, their senior brother still had misgivings about the rules of the Holy Land and didn't openly attack them. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to escape. In the next instant, they turned into streaks of light and flew forward. Boom! 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 Powerful auras descended one after another. Moreover, the array formation formed by the black-robed men shattered. When the black-robed almighty expert saw this scene, he gnashed his teeth and revealed an unwilling expression. But in the end, he still turned into countless strands of demonic energy that wrapped around the black-robed men and disappeared into the void. Who are you? Who allowed you to fight here? Sensing the remnant energy fluctuations in the air, the All Beginnings Holy Land's martial artists that had rushed over had gloomy expressions. But at this time, Lin Xian controlled the black earth, and a beautiful figure appeared. It was Lu Mingyue. As soon as she appeared, she flew into the sky and shouted, "Master!" "Disciple!" A middle-aged woman wearing a red dress appeared. Her body emitted a monstrous aura. She looked at Lu Mingyue and said excitedly, Good. It's good that you're back." Whoosh! Following the appearance of the woman in red, more than 10 mighty figures appeared in the surroundings. They descended and protected Lu Mingyue firmly. At this time, the cultivators from the other factions also arrived, as well as guests from the other holy lands. When they saw this scene, they were extremely shocked. That woman is... How? B. The martial artists of the other factions gnashed their teeth. their expressions abnormally cold. The people of the fifth bloodline had also arrived. When they saw this scene, they were so angry that they were about to vomit blood. Soon an expert from the fifth bloodline snorted coldly. What's the use of coming back? She's a sinner of the Holy Land. You'll still be punished if you come back. That's right. She has committed a capital offense. You've already become someone else's maid. You don't deserve to be the new saintess. Cold shouts came one after another. However, the woman in red snorted and said, If any of you have a problem with that, I'll fight with him. At this point, she grasped the red hidden sword at her waist. Suddenly, her aura erupted like a volcano and swept across the sky. The area was dyed red in an instant. Bang! 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 Many people turned pale and almost knelt on the ground. They couldn't bear this terrifying aura. Peerless Almighty. This red-robed woman was actually a peerless almighty. Her terrifying aura suppressed the void like a divine monument. Du Hongling, although you're a peerless almighty, don't bully others. We're not afraid of you. That's right. You're no match for us in terms of strength. Besides, we won't bully others. Well, speak with facts. Lu Mingyue is indeed not suitable to be the new saintess. Besides, I think it's a mistake for her to stay in the Holy Land. You should expel her. Do you think you can expel her just because you want to? The woman in red, Du Hongling, snorted coldly. News about my disciple has spread throughout the eastern wilderness. What happened before was all because of Zheng Xiu from the fifth tribe. My disciple wasn't captured at all. And she's not a traitor of the Holy Land. So if you're not convinced, fight me. I, Du Hongling, am not afraid of you. At this point the aura on her body became sharp again. The clouds in the sky churned, and the red light turned into 3 huge long swords. Each of them was tens of thousands of miles long, and they circled in the void like giant dragons. The surrounding kings turned pale when they saw this scene. If they fought, the entire mountain range would be destroyed, and they wouldn't be spared. Lin Xian stood at the side. Looking at this scene, he was extremely shocked. Is this Lu Mingyu's master? What a domineering woman! However, he was relieved. With such a powerful master, it wouldn't be too difficult for Lu Mingyue to become the saintess. Du Hongling, you're too presumptuous. At this moment, the void rippled again, and the star-robed elder from before appeared again. With his appearance, a middle-aged man with a yellow face appeared beside him. He was wearing a yellow robe, and his face was sallow. He looked very ordinary. However, the moment he appeared, the faces of the people from the Holy Land changed. Ma Yuanshan, you actually came out of seclusion. Du Hongling's expression was also very serious. Ma Yuanshan was the middle-aged man with the sallow face. He was also a peerless almighty. Thus, his appearance caused the entire scene to change once again. The 2 peerless almighties confronted each other, and their terrifying auras kept rising. They collided in the void, and each blow tore the void. Everyone quickly retreated, afraid that they would be affected by the energy. However, at this tense moment, the stars in the sky flickered, and then emitted light, condensing into a human face. Both of you stop. Come with me. There was a vast pressure in this voice, like a god looking down on the mortals. Seeing the starry face, the 2 peerless almighties looked serious. They quickly restrained their auras. As for the surrounding Holy Land's cultivators, they respectfully bowed. We pay our respects to the Holy Master. This starry face was actually condensed by the All Beginnings Holy Land's Holy Master. Lin Xian was also very nervous. The strength of a Holy Land's Holy Master was incomparably terrifying and unfathomable. Chapter 1948. The great dragon sword soul in his body also started to revolve rapidly, to resist the pressure in the sky. Fortunately, the face of the Holy Lord of All Beginnings in the sky quickly disappeared. Then, Du Hongling, Ma Yuanshan, and the surrounding people all soared into the sky and flew into the distance. From the looks of it, they should be going to the Holy Lord to judge. As for the others, their eyes flickered. Many of them looked at Lin Xian, because they didn't expect Lin Xian to be with Lu Mingyue. This was even more shocking. For a time, many people guessed Lin Xian's true identity. Morong Qingqing was also very worried. However, Lin Xian told her not to come over for the time being. Lin Xian had 9 divine crystals in his hands. Even in the holy land of all beginnings, he had the ability to protect himself. Therefore, he didn't want Morong Qingqing to be involved in this maelstrom. Big brother Xian, be careful. If you can't handle it, leave early, Morong Qingqing said with concern. In the latter half of the night, many people wandered around the mountain peak where Lin Xian was. However, in the end they didn't make a move. It was as if they were afraid of something. The next day the people of the 7th branch came. They were very grateful that Lin Xian had escorted Lu Mingyue back. Moreover, they passed on Lu Mingyue's words. They said that they would definitely fulfill the agreement between the two of them. However, they would have to wait for some time. At the same time, the people of the 7th branch also gave Lin Xian some earth-tier treasures and some crystals. From the looks of it, it was quite a sumptuous gift. Lin Xian didn't hesitate to accept these things. He had escorted Lu Mingyue back for the reward. Of course, this reward was only a little bit of interest. The real benefits would have to wait until Lu Mingyue became the holy maiden of all beginnings. However, it would be soon. Soon the people of the 7th branch left. However, half a day later, several more people arrived. Seeing these people, Lin Xian frowned, because they were people of the 5th branch. These were the disciples of the 5th bloodline. The one in the lead wore a green robe, and his expression was unusually cold. He walked up to Lin Xian and looked at him coldly. Then he asked, "Are you the one who escorted senior sister Lu here?" Although it was only one sentence, it surprised Lin Xian, because just yesterday, the people of the 5th branch had called Lu Mingyue AB*TCH. But today, they had already changed their way of addressing her as senior sister Lu. It seemed that Lu Mingyue had been reaccepted. This was good news for Lin Xian. However, he couldn't understand why the people from the 5th bloodline had come. Logically speaking, they should be thanking the people from the 7th bloodline. Could it be that the people from the 5th bloodline were looking for trouble? In the next moment, Lin Xian nodded. "That's right, it's me. Who are you, and what do you want?" "We are naturally disciples of the All Beginnings Holy Land," the green-robed youth said coldly. "You escorted senior sister Lu back, which is a great contribution. We naturally have to treat you well. We've already prepared a banquet. Brother, if you don't have enough, why don't you come with us? Rest assured, we won't do anything to you. We just want to thank you properly." "Thank me?" Lin Xian sneered in his heart. These people were clearly people from the 5th bloodline. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. How could it be that they were purely thanking him? Most likely this was a trap. They wanted to bring him over so that they could attack him. Because of that, Lin Xian shook his head. "There's no need. I still have some matters to attend to. There's no need for a banquet." "How could that be?" Right at this moment, a pink-clothed woman stood forward and arrogantly said, "Our All Beginnings Holy Land will not owe anyone a favor. If you don't go, wouldn't it seem like we're lacking in hospitality? You've already treated me very well. There's no need for an additional banquet. Furthermore, I still have other matters to attend to. Thus it's better that you all return." Lin Xian shook his head and refused. "Brother, are you not going to give us face?" Hearing those words, the expressions of the several people sank. "Our elder has already spoken. No matter what, we must invite brother over today. If you don't give us face like this, won't we be punished when we return?" "That's right. Even if we have to tie you up, we must bring you out today." The pink-clothed woman became even more aggressive. From the looks of it, as long as Lin Xian refused again, they would attack him. Lin Xian sneered. "What's wrong? Are you all going to attack me because I'm not willing to go?" "Attack? Brother, you must be joking. We're not attacking you. We're only inviting brother over. Men, come and escort brother away," the green-clothed man sneered. The young man in the green robe laughed coldly. 2 more disciples walked out from behind him. Their auras surged and terrifying light shrouded Lin Xian. "Humph!" Lin Xian coldly snorted. His body trembled, and he shattered the 2 illusory hands. "Your All Beginnings Holy Land's way of receiving guests is truly special. It's good that you know. This is only a warning. If you don't obediently leave with us, we won't do it again. Next time it won't be so easy." Seeing that Lin Xian dared to resist, the green-clothed man's expression sank. In the next instant he coldly said, "Take him away. Brat, obediently leave with us." The two disciples sneered. They quickly rushed toward Lin Xian from the left and right. Scram! Lin Xian snorted coldly and kicked out with his leg. Pung! Pung! The two disciples screamed miserably and were sent flying. "You dare attack me?" Seeing this, the pink-clothed woman shouted. Her beautiful eyes were filled with anger. She truly didn't expect that the other party would dare to attack them in their holy land. They were truly reckless. Whoosh! In the next instant, she pulled out a red whip from her waist and lashed it forward. Whoosh! The red whip expanded in the wind, turning into a red flood dragon that bared its fangs and brandished its claws. In the blink of an eye, it arrived before Lin Xian. Lin Xian's expression was calm. He stretched out his palm and used the dragon-capturing hand. A dragon-shaped claw appeared on his palm, and he grabbed forward. He grabbed the red flood dragon with his palm. The flood dragon struggled with all its might, flipping and slapping the void, but it couldn't break free. Damn it! Seeing this, the pink-clothed woman's face turned pale. She didn't expect the other party to be so powerful that he could grab her long whip so easily. Damn it, let go of me. Chapter 1949. A terrifying sound whistled through the air, and an intense radiance burst forth in the air. Crack! The 300-meter-long dark green saber light was instantly shattered into pieces. Pung! 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 The green-robed youth retreated continuously with a shocked expression. His opponent's strength was simply too great. A single sword strike had forced him back. Damn it! How can this brat be so strong? The green-robed youth's expression turned gloomy, but in the next moment, he arrived beside the pink-robed woman and quickly transmitted his voice to her. "Junior sister, I have an idea." When the pink-robed woman heard this idea, her face turned red. But soon after, she clenched her teeth and agreed. After all, they had to eliminate the other party today. In the next instant, the pink-robed woman gnashed her teeth, and killing intent appeared in her eyes. Then, her lily-white hands began to tear apart her clothes. Chi! Chi! Soon, her pink dress was torn apart, revealing her snow-white skin. Under the illumination of the sun, her skin looked so delicate that it could be torn apart. This scene was extremely alluring. However, Lin Xian furrowed his brows. Ah! Right at this moment, the pink-robed woman shrieked. Then she hugged her body and retreated. "Men! Save me! I'm being indecent!" The pink-robed woman shrieked. As for the green-robed man, a sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. Soon, he started to play along. He crazily roared, "Damned brat! You dare to be so rude to my junior sister." He was a 6-star king. At this moment, he circulated his spiritual energy and shouted. Terrifying sound waves spread out in all directions like waves. "What's going on?" His voice attracted the attention of many people. Countless rays of light flew over from the sky. These were the disciples of the All Beginnings Holy Land. They had been attracted by that voice. "Fellow brothers, you've come at the right time. This brat is too hateful. He actually wants to molest my junior sister." What? Hearing this, the disciples that had rushed over were all enraged. They all glared at Lin Xian with unkind expressions. It wasn't just the young disciples. Several aged figures also appeared in the sky. "What's going on?" A dignified voice sounded. It was a middle-aged man wearing red robes. His aura was powerful. Reporting to Deacon Wang, "My junior sister and I have received orders to invite that brat down there for a meal. I didn't expect that brat to have evil intentions. After seeing my junior sister's beauty, he wanted to molest her. We had good intentions, but we didn't expect him to be so vicious. That damned bastard. He's simply too arrogant. He actually dares to commit murder in the All Beginnings Holy Land. Take him down and avenge junior sister. Fuck, we must cripple his cultivation. Chop off his limbs and feed him to the dogs." Cold shouts could be heard from the crowd. Most of these people were disciples of the 5th bloodline, and were hiding in the crowd shouting non-stop. Obviously, this was all premeditated. This matter caused an uproar, and more martial artists rushed over. Soon the entire mountain range was completely surrounded. "Brat, although you've done a meritorious deed by escorting Lu Mingyue back, you're too arrogant. Therefore, you must be punished today. Kneel down obediently and accept your punishment. I will only cripple your cultivation and spare your life." The red-robed middle-aged man stood up, his voice cold. He was also from the 5th bloodline. "Stop." At this time, the people of the 7th branch also arrived. They said, "What are you doing? This young master is a guest of our 7th branch." "Guests? What a joke. He's no longer a disciple of our 5th bloodline. Can't I touch him?" The red-robed middle-aged man sneered. "What's going on?" Seeing the woman in pink in front of them, the people of the 7th bloodline frowned. Lin Xian said in a low voice, "It's obvious that this is a show. Their goal is to capture me." That woman's clothes were torn by her own hands. "What?" Hearing this, the surrounding martial artists were shocked. The people of the 5th bloodline sneered. "What kind of joke is this? You're obviously quibbling. Why would my junior sister frame you? You have to know that we've never known you. This time, we're just inviting you out of kindness." "That's right, we have no reason to frame you. Brat, you're so young, but you're so vicious. If such a person continues to grow, he'll be a scourge. Why don't we get rid of him today?" Cold shouts came one after another. Immediately after, several huge figures stood out and locked onto Lin Xian. The middle-aged man said, "Is the 7th bloodline going to interfere in this matter?" "What?" The people of the 7th bloodline frowned and hesitated, because they didn't know if Lin Xian had really done anything to her. The current situation was very unfavorable for them. Lin Xian didn't expect the people of the 7th bloodline to help him with all their might. He sneered, looked forward and said loudly, "Why did you frame me? It's very simple. Because I escorted Lu Mingyue back. You're dissatisfied and can't do anything to her. So you can only vent your anger on me. How dare you? The 5th bloodline is open and aboveboard. Why would we attack a stranger? You're obviously quibbling. Men, take him down." The middle-aged man roared. Immediately, 2 figures rushed out in front of him and charged towards Lin Xian. Light flickered on their bodies. They were very powerful. Every step they took cracked the void. In an instant they arrived beside Lin Xian. 2 large hands stretched out, and huge palms of light appeared. Killing intent surged like 2 huge demonic beasts that enveloped Lin Xian. For a moment the entire sky shone with light. A terrifying aura surged and completely sealed Lin Xian. The surrounding warriors also cried out in surprise. Among them, the people of the 5th bloodline cheered with all their might. In their opinion, the other party was definitely going to die. Bang bang. However, Lin Xian sneered twice. He used the Great Dragon Sword Soul. Terrifying aura surged and condensed into a huge golden thunder hammer in his hand. Golden light flickered, and the huge thunder hammer surged with terrifying power and rushed out of the void. Lin Xian waved the golden thunder hammer in his hand and smashed it forward. Soon, an intense collision sounded in the sky. The 2 powerhouses of the 5th bloodline were sent flying and vomited blood. "So powerful!" the surrounding crowd exclaimed, while the people of the 5th bloodline gritted their teeth in a daze. They didn't expect the other party to be so powerful. "How dare you?" The middle-aged man was also angry. He shouted coldly, "How dare you hit the martial artists of our sacred land in broad daylight? This is unforgivable. Men, kill him on the spot." Chapter 1950. Looking at the 4 figures, Lin Xian snorted coldly. In the next moment, he formed a seal with his palms, and a boundless chill spread out from his body. Crack! 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 Wherever the chill passed, the void froze. The 4 5th lineage elites turned pale and tried to escape. But in an instant, they were frozen into ice cubes. What a terrifying chill aura! It's so cold. When the surrounding sacred land martial artists saw this, their scalps went numb, and they retreated. This move was too terrifying. It froze 4 elites in an instant. Humph! The middle-aged man snorted. He could tell that Lin Xian was powerful. Now, it seemed that he had to do it himself. "Kid, you're too arrogant. Today I'll kill you personally." As he spoke, chaotic chi emerged from his body and formed a chaotic sun behind him. It bloomed with thousands of rays of light. A terrifying aura filled the air and endless chaotic light shone, illuminating the entire sky. "Kill!" With a roar, 5 giant golden crows appeared from the chaotic sun behind him. Each of them was 100 feet long, and looked as though they were made of gold. They were lifelike. They spread their wings and flew toward Lin Xian, bringing with them a sky full of flowing light. In the distance, the sacred land martial artists were suppressed by this boundless aura. Their bodies trembled, and they could not stand still. Whoosh! Whoosh! The 5 golden crows quickly approached Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted and raised his hand. Endless chill aura gathered on his left hand and formed a blue bow. Black flames danced on his right hand and formed a black arrow, arching the bow to shoot the golden crows. Boom! 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 He released 5 arrows in a row. The 5 black arrows were like hell's divine spears. They burned with boundless black heat and pierced through the golden crows, blowing them up. In the sky, violent energy explosions swept out in all directions. As for the surrounding crowd, they were all stunned. The middle-aged man's pupil shrank. He did not expect Lin Xian to be so powerful that he could even contend with him. In the next moment, he stomped his feet and turned into a ray of flowing light, rushing over quickly. In the palm of his hand, chaotic chi swirled and formed a huge chaotic vortex. Accompanied by the power of the chaotic sun, it shot out quickly. Pung! The void was like a mirror, shattering right away. Furthermore, the cracks were spreading rapidly, trying to swallow Lin Xian whole. Whoosh! Lin Xian's figure flickered, instantly leaving his original spot and appearing in another direction. He drew the bow in his hand again. Wung! A black arrow shot out, causing the void to tremble as it flew towards the middle-aged man. Ka. The void was directly pierced through, creating a pitch-black ravine. The middle-aged man was shocked. He waved his hands, and the light of chaos formed 7 shields in front of him. At the same time, a green armor appeared on his body, shining brightly. Boom! However, the arrow in the sky contained the power of the great dragon sword soul. Like a hot knife through butter, it easily pierced through the 7 chaos shields. Then it pierced through the middle-aged man. Ah! The middle-aged man let out a blood-curdling scream, as his shoulder was pierced through, and he flew backward. In the end, he was nailed to a mountain peak. Blood dripped from the sky, and screams reverberated in the surroundings, causing everyone's scalp to go numb. The people of the 5th bloodline gasped, and their eyes were filled with fear. This middle-aged man was extremely powerful. He could be said to be at the peak of 6-star kings, but he was easily injured. He could not fight back at all. What was the background of that young man in front of them? Why was his combat strength so terrifying? For a moment, they were terrified and did not dare to look at him again. Humph! How dare you make a move in the sacred land? You're courting death. At this moment, the void fluctuated, and a large number of figures appeared. There were young prodigies, middle-aged men, and even pale old men. Without exception, they were all powerhouses of the 5th bloodline. As soon as these people appeared, they sealed off the surroundings and directly trapped Lin Xian. This time, they would definitely not let him escape. It's over. This kid is definitely dead. That's right. The young prodigies and the elders of the 5th bloodline have all appeared. I'm afraid this kid won't be able to escape no matter how heaven-defying he is. There's nothing they can do. This kid sent Lu Minghua back. It can be said that he has completely angered the 5th bloodline. It's normal for the people of the 5th bloodline to want to kill him now. Discussions sounded one after another. This time, not only the people of the 5th bloodline, but also the powerhouses of the 5 great sage lands, and the people of the 3 seeker spiritual master clans in the distance. Because the commotion here was too big, it directly alarmed them. When they learned that it was the people of the 5th bloodline who attacked Lin Xian, many of them immediately sneered. Among them, especially Tuoba Tianxi and the Thousand Thunder Saint. They all looked down with sneers on their faces. I told you this kid is not a good person at all. Look, he actually wants to violate the female disciple of the sacred land of rights. Such a person can't be left in this world. I think it's better to kill him directly. The Thousand Thunder Saint said coldly. On the other side, Tuoba Tianxi also sneered. Morong Qingqing on the other hand looked solemn. She did not believe that Lin Xian would do such a thing. He must have been framed. Therefore, she stepped forward and said in a deep voice, Stop, there must be a misunderstanding. What misunderstanding? The female disciple who was bullied is right below. The evidence is conclusive. Moreover, this kid injured the cultivators of our sacred land in public. Everyone saw it. There is no misunderstanding at all. At this time, an elder of the fifth bloodline stepped forward and said coldly, Jade Lake Saintess, although you are an honored guest, this matter is the matter of the All Beginnings Holy Land. I hope you won't interfere. Saintess. The people of the Jade Lake Sacred Land also stepped forward to dissuade her. Indeed, with their current status, it was not good for them to interfere. Morong Qingqing also snorted coldly. However, she decided that she would not let these people hurt Lin Xian in the slightest. Fairy Morong is the Jade Lake Saintess. It is not convenient for her to interfere. What about me? At this time, another ice-cold voice sounded. Lu Mingyue. Everyone turned around and saw a fairy-like figure appear. That's right, it was Lu Mingyue. At this time, she had already recovered her status as a saintess candidate. Moreover, it would not be long before she became a true saintess. Therefore, her appearance naturally caused a commotion among the crowd. Lu Mingyue said indifferently, I understand him. He would not do such a thing. I think there must be some misunderstanding. What misunderstanding? The evidence is conclusive. The elder of the fifth bloodline sneered. That's right. He dares to bully the people of our fifth bloodline. We must kill this kid. The people of the fifth bloodline also roared in anger. Conclusive? Lin Xian smiled. Are you sure the evidence is conclusive? Of course. The person is already here. How could it be false? That elder snorted coldly. Fine. Since you want evidence, I will show you the evidence. Chapter 1951. Sure. Since you want evidence, I'll show you. Then Lin Xian said, Ruffian dragon, take that thing out. I've already prepared it. The dark red divine dragon sneered. They had felt that something was amiss when they saw the scene earlier. Thus, they directly used memory crystals to record the scene from before. The next moment, the dark red divine dragon tossed out its claw, and a translucent blue crystal floated in the void. It shone brightly and was projected into the air. That's a memory crystal, Huang Fuqian exclaimed. It seems like the truth is about to be revealed. Oh, Yang Mingfei said in a low voice. Sure enough, the memory crystal's projection showed the scene of the pink lady tearing her clothes apart. The faces of the people from the fifth bloodline darkened. They did not expect Lin Xian to have a memory crystal. I've already given you the evidence you wanted. Now, are you still going to say that I'm the one who molested her? Lin Xian said calmly. The elder was so angry that his body trembled. This slap to his face was too loud. What's going on? Morong Qingqing shouted coldly. Lu Minggyu's face darkened. Is this what you mean by molesting? It seems like you don't know the rules. Is the law enforcement hall here? Lu Mingyue shouted loudly. Here. 3 martial artists in black armor appeared in the sky. Their auras were as cold as ice. These 2 disciples framed a distinguished guest and brought shame to the sacred land. Take them away and discipline them. Yes, the 3 martial artists from the law enforcement hall descended and took the pink lady and the green-robed youth away. Elder, save me. The 2 of them screamed, their faces pale. They did not expect this to happen. How dare you? The elder from the fifth bloodline shouted angrily. What? You want to violate the sacred land's rules? Lu Mingyue said coldly. Damn it. The elder from the fifth bloodline gritted his teeth and could only watch as the law enforcement hall took them away. He had no choice. Although he was an elder, he did not dare to openly defy the rules of the Holy Land. The other members of the fifth bloodline were trembling with anger. However, they had no intention of letting Lin Xian off the hook. In the next moment, those people all stared at Lin Xian. The elder from the fifth faction gritted his teeth and said, Those 2 disciples lied about this matter. But what about the matter of this brat injuring my disciple? He openly committed murder in the Holy Land. Such a person must not be allowed to live. However, Lin Xian sneered and said, It's just a spar. Furthermore, it was you guys who made the first move. Hearing this, the fifth bloodline was so angry that he coughed up blood. They glared fiercely at Lin Xian, wishing they could beat him up. Really? Spar? Alright, I'll spar with you. If I injure you badly, I don't think anyone will blame me, right? At this moment, a young man walked out from the crowd of the fifth bloodline. His black hair reached his shoulders, and his face looked as if it had been carved by a knife. He gave off an unusually sharp feeling. Xiao Qingshan, he's actually going to attack. He's one of the candidate saints. He's powerful and unfathomable. Legend has it that he's not weaker than a true candidate saint. As soon as the black-haired young man appeared, the surrounding crowd began to discuss. Xiao Qingshan stood in the void and looked down at Lin Xian. He put his hands behind his back and said indifferently, "Let's do it. We're just sparring. Don't worry, I won't kill you." There was a trace of biting cold killing intent in his words that shook the void. Haha, this kid is scared. I didn't expect my senior brother Xiao Qingshan to attack. Senior brother Xiao, go for it. Cripple him. The disciples of the fifth bloodline shouted crazily. The elders did not stop them. They also watched with cold smiles on their faces. What, you think a candidate saint can take me down? Lin Xian snorted. Since you want to spar, I'll grant you your wish. With that, he took a step forward and his aura erupted. His long hair fluttered, and his eyes were like lightning. He was like a peerless divine sword unsheathed. You're indeed powerful. However, you're not my match, Xiao Qingshan said coldly in the sky. His eyes were filled with disdain. He was one of the candidates of the All Beginnings holy ground. His strength was powerful and unfathomable. His opponent was only a nameless junior. Was he even qualified to fight with him? Whoosh. In the next instant he stretched out his hand. A cyan flame danced in the center of his palm. The cyan flame was like a divine flame. It illuminated the void and emitted a terrifying aura. Whoosh. Soon after, Xiao Qingshan waved his hand. The cyan flame rushed out of his palm. A green light sprinkled down, and instantly, the water in the huge lake below was completely evaporated. The terrifying heat was so intense that even the void couldn't withstand it. Cyan Lotus Flame. Xiao Qingshan actually used Cyan Lotus Flame. It seems like he's determined to kill his opponent. What? That's a flame that only an almighty expert can possess. I didn't expect Xiao Qingshan to possess such a flame. Could it be that he really has strength comparable to a candidate saint? Cries of surprise were heard one after another. Evidently, the cyan flames had caused the surrounding people to be extremely shocked. Boom! Lin Xian quickly counterattacked. He waved his hand. Blue cold air revolved around his palm. A cold palm of ice soared into the sky. Ka. The blue palm was like an ancient iceberg. It streaked across the sky, causing the void to tremble. The power of ice. But it's useless. My cyan lotus flame isn't something you can imagine. Xiao Qingshan had a calm expression. Ordinary ice wouldn't be able to block his cyan lotus flame. His opponent would definitely be burned to ashes by his flames. Boom. But in the next instant he was stunned. The huge fireball he had shot out was frozen. It turned into a block of ice and fell from the sky. Not only that, but the blue ice divine palm didn't lose any power. It rapidly grabbed at him. How could this be? Xiao Qingshan's expression changed for the first time. He was stunned. He didn't dare to believe his eyes. The surrounding crowd was also stunned. This was especially true for the disciples of the fifth bloodline. They looked as if they had seen a ghost. They hadn't expected Lin Xian to be able to break through the cyan lotus flame so easily. Whoosh! In the sky, Xiao Qingshan's body swayed. He turned into a cyan phantom and flashed rapidly in the void. However, the ice divine palm grew bigger and bigger. In the end, it completely enveloped the entire sky. Boom, boom, boom. In an instant, the sky above his head was completely frozen. Xiao Qingshan's body was also wrapped in countless cold air. Get lost! Xiao Qingshan roared. The flames in his body were like a sea of fire. They suddenly erupted. He resisted the surrounding cold air and quickly broke out of the encirclement. His hair was covered in blue ice. His face was abnormally ferocious. He was furious. He was too furious. Chapter 1952. The surrounding warriors were all astonished. Lin Xian's battle prowess was simply too frightening. Kid, you've completely angered me. Xiao Qingshan's voice was cold. I just wanted to play with you, but now I've changed my mind. In the next moment, he roared and formed a seal with both hands. Countless green flames gathered in front of him, forming 18 green lotus flowers. Each lotus flower seemed real and carried a terrifying heat. All of them flew toward Lin Xian. Clear lotus burning the sky. Kid, go to hell. Xiao Qingshan roared and waved his palm quickly. This was his strongest move. Once it was used, the entire sky would be burned clean. No matter how strong the opponent was, they would not be able to resist it. As expected, as soon as the 18 green lotus flowers appeared, the ice in the sky melted instantly. Not only that, the 18 lotus flowers formed a formation and enveloped Lin Xian, trying to refine him. Clear lotus burning the sky. Lin Xian sneered. It's just the light of a firefly. It'll break you now. In the next moment, his eyes became sharp. The great dragon sword soul was activated quickly, and a long ice sword appeared in front of him. As he swung the sword, a terrifying ice aura filled the air. The sharp sword light cut through the void. Boom, boom, boom. The sword chi slashed down, and the 18 lotus flowers in the sky were all shattered. The terrifying sword light flashed in the sky and slashed toward Xiao Qingshan. What? They're all shattered. How is this possible? When the people of the fifth lineage saw this, they went crazy. Those were 18 lotus flowers, a terrifying technique that could burn the heavens. But now it was broken by a sword. This shocked them, and they could not believe it. Xiao Qingshan's expression changed drastically. He did not expect his secret technique to be broken in an instant. Moreover, what frightened him even more was that the sword light was too sharp. It was as if it could cut him in half. Damn it! He roared angrily and turned into a bolt of green lightning. He dashed to the left in an instant, trying to dodge the sword. However, as soon as Xiao Qingshan moved, mysterious runes appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. Then a cold smile appeared on his face. The ice sword in his hand slashed out once more. This sword directly sealed off Xiao Qingshan's path of retreat, and quickly arrived at his side. Xiao Qingshan's face turned green, because he couldn't block this sword at all. The terrifying murderous aura caused his entire body to turn cold. He could imagine that the next sword strike would pierce through him. Elder, save me. At the moment of crisis, Xiao Qingshan could no longer care about his face. He shouted loudly, abnormally frightened. Humph! The elder of the fifth branch's face darkened when he saw this. With a wave of her embroidered robe, a red light suddenly turned into a huge mountain, blocking Xiao Qingshan and the terrifying sword chi. Clang! In the next moment, the black demonic sword collided with the red sleeve, producing a shocking sound. Boom! Boom! In the void, countless cracks appeared, and an energy shockwave blasted Xiao Qingshan away. Puff! Xiao Qingshan's hair was disheveled, and he spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Fortunately, an elder stepped in and saved his life. The surrounding martial artists were stunned. They couldn't believe that the extremely powerful Xiao Qingshan, one of the candidates of the chosen saint, couldn't even block one sword strike from the other party. Who is this person? He's too terrifying. Could it be that he has the strength of a chosen saint? No wonder he could escort Lu Mingyue back to the sacred land. Discussions broke out, but the faces of the people of the fifth branch were terrifyingly dark. This is the genius of your fifth branch. He's so weak that he can't even withstand a single blow. At this moment, Lin Xian said calmly. He stood with his hands behind his back, looking very calm, as if the attack just now was just a casual move to him. Even so, the commotion caused by this was still unbelievable. Kid, you're too arrogant. At this moment, an elder of the fifth branch stood out. His entire body was surging with murderous aura, as if he was the god of death. That's enough. Stop pretending. You've come up with so many excuses just to kill me. Come on, just do it. Lin Xian shouted coldly, completely disregarding the people of the fifth branch. That was because he had absolute confidence in himself and had the ability to protect himself. Today, he's going to turn the sky and earth upside down. Humph! Since you're courting death, it'll fulfill your wish. An elder sneered. Then, he stretched out his hand and grabbed at Lin Xian like a monstrous demon claw. Buzz! Old thing, you're alone. You're not enough. Lin Xian laughed and pulled out the 9 darkness demonic sword. The aura on his body suddenly erupted. The terrifying sword Qi was like a divine sword that cut the sky open. Then, the monstrous demon claw was also split open, revealing deep white bones. Ah! The elder of the 5th branch screamed, and retreated while holding his palm. His face was unusually ferocious. It was too fierce. He couldn't withstand this sword technique at all. However, the next moment he roared crazily, "All of you go and kill him!" The surrounding crowd was stunned. They didn't expect that even the elder was no match for him. When the people of the 5th branch heard this, they roared and rushed over. In an instant, more than a dozen figures came to Lin Xian's side. "Damn it, how dare you!" Seeing this, Lu Mingyue and Murong Qingqing also shouted. Murong Qingqing's beautiful eyes were filled with anger, and she wanted to attack. However, Lin Xian transmitted his voice and told her not to attack. He also asked Lu Mingyue to step aside and watch. Today's battle didn't require their help. Facing the dozen people who rushed over, Lin Xian swung his demonic sword. The half-moon demonic sword's aura drew a black moonlight, and instantly sent the dozen people flying. Go! However, more people were unable to do so. The battle broke out. In an instant, the mountain peak under their feet was split in half, and shattered into countless pieces of gravel. However, in just a moment, the young disciples all spat out blood and flew back. None of them could resist. "Damn it, he's too strong!" Many people screamed, and their eyes were filled with fear. Because they had never seen such a powerful young man, except for the saint-level figures. But the people of the 5th branch were not reconciled at all. At this time, 3 elders appeared and surrounded Lin Xian. This scene was too shocking. 3 elder-level existences were very powerful. Although they weren't almighties, they were still the top existence among the 6-star kings. That combat power was incomparably terrifying. Perhaps only a true saint could resist it. However, with the 3 elders attacking together, even an ordinary saint would not be able to contend against them. But now, such a lineup was actually dealing with a young man. When the other martial artists saw this scene, they discussed animatedly. And the people of the 5th branch of the great sage frowned, because this scene was really beyond their expectations. Tuoba Tianxi, the myriad thunder saint, and the other saints and saintesses' eyes flickered incomparably. They stared fixedly at Lin Xian, because the other party's strength was too terrifying, and had definitely reached their level. Chapter 1953. As for Murong Qingqing, she was extremely worried. Her beautiful eyes were filled with worry. However, Lin Xian had sent her a voice transmission earlier. Thus she couldn't make a move right now. Moreover, the people from the Jade Lake Sacred Ground were also holding her back. After all, this matter was related to the All Beginnings Holy Land. If the people from the Jade Lake Sacred Ground rashly got involved, the impact would be huge. As for Lin Xian, his gaze was like lightning. He looked at the 3 elders and sneered. "Is there no one else in your All Beginnings Holy Land? You actually sent 3 elders to kill a youngster like me? How laughable! How lamentable! Fine. Since no one in the younger generation is my match, I will play with you 3 old fellows. I'd like to see if the 3 of you old fellows are trash as well." After saying that, Lin Xian pointed the demonic sword in his hand at the sky. Immediately, countless black lightning bolts descended from the sky. It was like a lightning tribulation. "Brat, you are courting death." The 3 elders from the 5th bloodline had gloomy expressions. Indeed, with their status, joining hands to deal with a youngster was truly shameful. Moreover, it was in front of so many people. However, there was nothing they could do. Their 5th bloodline's genius, their holy son candidate, had been sent flying by a single sword strike. Apart from him, they couldn't find another youngster who could contend against him. The All Beginnings Holy Son could definitely contend against him. However, the All Beginnings Holy Son wasn't someone from their 5th bloodline. Moreover, he wasn't in the All Beginnings Holy Land right now. Thus, they could only take action themselves. Even if they were looked down upon, they still had to take action. After all, Lin Xian's strength and talent were too terrifying. He had reached the Holy Sun level at such a young age. If they didn't eliminate such a person, He would become a disaster for their fifth bloodline in the future. Brat, you are too arrogant. You have injured so many experts of our sacred ground. No matter what, we won't let you leave today. Kneel down and accept your death. 3 furious roars sounded. Then, the 3 elders' eyes blossomed with cold light. Their auras suddenly erupted. They formed 3 kings' domains and completely sealed off Lin Xian. Lin Xian madly laughed in disdain. 3 shameless old fellows. Isn't it because you are afraid of me? Since you want to fight, bring it on. Kill. Lin Xian roared, and took the initiative to attack. Countless rays of sword light appeared in the sky. They were like stars cutting through the void. A bright light shone, illuminating the entire sky. The terrifying sword light instantly enveloped the 3 elders of the 5th branch. You're courting death. The 3 elders of the 5th branch were completely enraged. This guy was too arrogant. He wanted to challenge the 3 of them by himself? You really don't know what death is. The surrounding Chosens and Sky Prides were also extremely shocked. The reason for that was because they discovered that Lin Xian was simply too arrogant. This brat is too arrogant. He definitely won't win. Tuoba Tianxi gritted his teeth and snorted. Of course not. Each of the 3 elders is comparable to a holy sun. When the 3 of them join forces, their strength is extremely powerful. Even a real holy sun may not be able to contend against them. That brat definitely won't be able to stop it. The myriad Thunder Saint Sun also sneered. Up in the sky, the 3 elders roared furiously. Then one of them counterattacked. He opened his mouth and spat out a blue river. The waves were hundreds of feet high and collided with the sword light in the sky. Boom! 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 Countless shocked voices sounded in the sky. This superpower was too terrifying. However, before they could finish their exclamations, there was a shocking change in the void. The hundreds of feet high wave was split open by the sword, creating a vacuum area. Then, thousands of sword rays swept across and completely shattered it. The terrifying demonic sword whistled, and the shocking rainbow continued to move toward the 3 elders. Humph! The elder who attacked was shocked, while the other 2 elders snorted coldly, their faces extremely gloomy. The next moment, powerful chaotic chi exuded from their bodies, crushing the void like countless mountains. Buzz! In the sky, a ghostly claw appeared out of thin air, grabbing downward like a mountain. The void was instantly torn apart, and a terrifying aura locked onto Lin Xian. On the other side, another elder made his move. A sharp saber light shone like a shocking divine rainbow, and quickly slashed down. The 2 elders attacked together and charged toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian raised his sword to block. The demonic sword flickered and directly shattered the saber light. At the same time, he threw out a punch. The Armageddon Black Dragon fist turned into a black dragon and blasted toward the terrifying ghostly claw. Boom! A destructive and violent aura shrouded the sky, causing heaven and earth to shake. The terrifying ghostly claw was instantly penetrated. The 2 sides were evenly matched in this attack. However, this made everyone even more shocked. That previous attack had been unleashed by 2 elders, but Lin Xian had blocked it all by himself. This was too heaven-defying. Damn it! This kid is too evil. Let's attack together and kill him. The 3 elders looked at each other, and finally decided to be shameless and attack together. Whoosh! Elder number 1 moved his hands and suddenly, a terrifying chaotic light shone, forming a huge light palm that tore through the void. In an instant, the terrifying light palm charged toward Lin Xian like the palm of a demon king. It was abnormally terrifying. Not only that, but the entire space was also completely sealed. Elder number 2 roared angrily. The red light on his body surged into the sky like a volcano erupting. The dazzling light illuminated the entire sky. He unleashed a sea of fire. The blazing flames pierced through the void and quickly charged toward Lin Xian. Elder number 3 moved his hands and formed a large green bell. It kept expanding like a huge mountain, dazzling and eye-catching. On its surface, runes were shining. The large bell shook gently. Suddenly, the runes in the sky rippled like stars. Boom! The terrifying green seed directly enveloped Lin Xian. The terrifying power blasted black holes in the void. The 3 elders attacked together. The momentum was too shocking. Even the saints and saintesses who were watching the battle from afar changed their expressions. Brother Xian, Morong Qingqing was even more nervous. Even a saint would have a hard time facing such a terrifying attack. She didn't know if Lin Xian could block it. In front, endless light shone, and a terrifying aura shot into the sky. The sky was filled with a sea of fire. The light of spiritual power burst out together, causing the entire sky to tremble. The countless mountains below were filled with rolling boulders, as if they would collapse at any time. Kill! Lin Xian also roared angrily. He felt a great threat. One had to know that each of the three elders was comparable to a saint. At this moment, the three of them were indeed very powerful. Therefore, for a moment his eyes shone with a shocking light. The great dragon sword soul in his body kept surging, letting out a dragon's roar. Boom! Chapter 1954. That divine furnace was 1,000 feet tall, and resembled a blazing divine mountain. There was a vivid and lifelike phoenix engraved on it. Heat waves filled the sky, causing large black cracks to appear in the void. In the end, the blazing divine furnace collided with the large green bell. An earth-shattering sound rang out, causing everyone's scalp to go numb. Many cultivators fainted. As for the remaining cultivators, they were bitterly persevering. Buzz! 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 More experts shot out rays of light that enveloped the surroundings, preventing them from being hit by the shock waves. Resisting the large green bell in the sky, Lin Xian activated Sea God Ice once more. The terrifying power of ice transformed into an ice phoenix that rapidly rushed out of his body and collided with the sea of flames in the sky. As ice and fire collided, a terrifying power filled the entire sky. Lin Xian's fighting spirit sword. Terrifying sword energy soared into the sky. The 9 nether devils' sword in his hand slashed out. Sharp sword lights collided with the large palm of light, each strike capable of devouring the heavens and splitting the earth. The four people's battle shook the heavens and the earth, causing the entire world to explode. Not only that, but the terrifying energy also activated the All Beginnings Holy Lands Array Formation. A terrifying array formation emerged, protecting the surrounding mountains and rivers. Who is this brat? He's too terrifying. He can actually contend against the three elders for such a long time. Heavens, could it be that his strength has already surpassed a saint's sons? Impossible. What kind of people are saint's sons? They are all world-shaking peerless geniuses. However, even saint's sons are divided into strong and weak ones. This brat's strength can be considered relatively strong among saint's sons. Sounds of discussion could be heard. It was clear that this scene had left everyone dumbfounded. The three elders were also extremely shocked. They couldn't take down the other party in a short period of time. This caused them to lose face. One had to know that the three of them had shamelessly joined hands. They originally thought that they could easily kill the other party if they joined hands. But they didn't expect that the other party would be so strong. They could only fight to a draw. Buzz! At this time, a black light suddenly appeared. Like a ghost, it arrived behind Lin Xian. Then, the terrifying gray palm slapped out towards Lin Xian's back. The silhouette appeared. It was also an old man. His hands were covered in gray mist, and he viciously slapped at Lin Xian. Boom! A low voice sounded out, and then countless clouds of fog erupted, covering the area in front of them. It hit! The disciples of the fifth bloodline cheered, while the others cried out in surprise. The myriad Thunder Saint's son, Tuoba Tianxi, and the others sneered. After being hit by such a violent palm of light, even a saint would be severely injured, if not killed. This kid is dead for sure. Morong Qingqing cried out in alarm. His figure flashed and he was about to make a move, but he was stopped by the people beside him. At this moment, an elder of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground quickly said, "Don't get too excited. His aura is still there." Upon hearing this, Morong Qingqing heaved a sigh of relief and quickly sensed her surroundings. Indeed, she could still sense Lin Xian's aura. This put her at ease. The others also looked over. Naturally, they could also sense Lin Xian's aura. However, in their opinion, even if he did not die, he would be severely injured. Being besieged by 4 elders, even if the saint was severely injured, he would definitely die. The gray mist that filled the sky dissipated, and then the situation inside emerged. But very soon, everyone was stunned. Even their eyeballs were about to fall out. Because there, Lin Xian's body was covered in a layer of cold metal armor. He looked like a god of war, unstoppable. A trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, but his aura did not weaken much. How is this possible? He's not seriously injured. Just a minor injury? Damn it, how could this be? How did he block that palm strike? Exclamations were heard. Everyone could not believe it. The gray-robed elder who attacked also narrowed his eyes. His palm was absolutely terrifying. Even the saint could not block it. But how did the other party block it? Damn it, there's something wrong with his armor. The four elders' faces were unusually gloomy. They did not expect the other party to have such a powerful armor. Humph. Lin Xian also snorted coldly and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Fortunately, the black armor blocked most of the attack. Otherwise, that palm would definitely have severely injured him. A bunch of shameless old men. How dare you be so shameless? Lin Xian gritted his teeth. Four elders had attacked him. This was too much pressure for him. Therefore he summoned the dark red divine dragon. The dark red divine dragon was already furious. As soon as it appeared, it pointed to the front and roared. Damn you four old fools, how shameless can you be? How old are you? You should be 5,000 or 6,000 years old, right? You actually joined forces to attack a young man in his 20s. If I were you, I would have killed myself long ago. The dark red divine dragon howled crazily, and its voice traveled thousands of miles. The four elders' faces darkened, and they were so angry that they vomited blood. Where did this beast come from? How dare he spout such nonsense here? Fuck. You're the beast. The dark red divine dragon was enraged. It slapped out with its claw, and suddenly, a dark red beast's claw appeared in the void. It covered the sky and the earth, and sent the elder flying. Boom! Boom! The old man who spoke arrogantly fell to the ground like a meteor. He smashed the ground into pieces, and a terrifying deep pit appeared. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. His strength was too terrifying. He was not inferior to the saint at all. They did not expect a demonic beast to have such powerful strength. Kill! The two sides fought again, because there was nothing left to say. They could only defeat each other. Previously, Lin Xian fought 1 against 3, and both sides were tied. Now that it was 2 against 4, the four elders were directly suppressed. Regardless of whether it was Lin Xian or the dark red divine dragon, they were not existences that they could imagine. Lin Xian had the crimson sword soul, and his combat strength was abnormally strong. The four elders' arms were numb, and the blood in their bodies was shaken. The dark red divine dragon was also extremely terrifying. Firstly, he was a divine dragon with a strong physique and many secret techniques. Secondly, he used to be an almighty. Although his cultivation level had dropped, he had recovered to a 6-star king. He was extremely terrifying. Therefore, he had completely suppressed the two elders. Everyone was shocked, and their mouths twitched. Was he still human? Even the four elders could not suppress him. Boom! 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 After dozens of moves, the four elders were directly blasted away. All of them were seriously injured, and one of the elders was even more miserable. There was a terrifying crack on his shoulder. His bones were exposed, and his body was almost split in half. Boom! 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 At this moment, a few powerful auras came from afar. They were like dark clouds that covered the entire sky. Chapter 1955. At this moment, a few powerful auras came from afar. They were like dark clouds that covered the entire sky. These auras were like gods and demons that made people tremble. At this moment, even the saints, saintesses and sky prides frowned. Almighty! Morong Qingqing clenched her fists. She did not expect that even the Almighty would appear. Qingqing, don't do anything. I might have to leave this place early. Don't worry, I can protect myself. Sensing the auras of the Almighty, Lin Xian quickly sent a voice transmission to Morong Qingqing. Morong Qingqing nodded. She believed in Lin Xian. Lin Xian then sent a voice transmission to Lu Mingyue. When you become the saintess, Remember our agreement. I hope you won't go back on your words. Don't worry, when I become the saintess, I'll definitely thank you. Lu Mingyue also responded. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In the sky, a powerful aura descended as if night had fallen. The terrifying aura made it hard for everyone to breathe. Finally, 3 figures appeared. They were like demon kings floating in the void. Each of them was unreachable. People could only look up to them. Almighty! That's great, the Almighty is here. The people of the 5th lineage were extremely excited and cheered. This is the Almighty of the 5th lineage. He's their elite. Now that their Almighty was here, they could definitely crush the other party. Young man, you've gone too far. One of the Almighty in purple spoke. His voice was like heavenly thunder, rolling over. Now capture him and come back with me. His voice was low, and there was an unquestionable tone. What a joke. Who are you? Why should I go back with you? Even in the face of the Almighty, Lin Xian was not afraid. The surrounding martial artists were stunned. They could not believe it. Is this kid crazy? How dare he defy the Almighty? The people of the 5th lineage sneered. Haha, this kid is dead. How dare he provoke the Almighty? He's definitely going to die. Sure enough, in the sky, the Almighty in purple frowned when he heard Lin Xian's words. He coldly snorted. Reckless fool. In the next moment he stretched out a finger and pressed it downward. From the looks of it, it was as if an adult was going to crush an ant to death. A finger fell, and then became bigger. In the end, it was like a divine pillar that reached the heavens, descending from the sky. Mysterious runes appeared on his finger, emitting a terrifying aura. The sea of clouds in the sky was pierced through, and countless cracks appeared. The entire void shattered like a mirror. In an instant, the terrifying heaven-piercing finger arrived above Lin Xian, and was about to mercilessly descend. Ah! Lin Xian roared. The 9 Hell Devil sword in his hand quickly grew bigger, turning into a huge pitch-black devil sword. Boom! Then he waved the huge demonic sword. The demonic sword in his hand seemed to have turned into a black dragon. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws, roaring ferociously. The sword light soared into the sky and collided with the Tongtian palm. Boom! Boom! There was a huge explosion in the sky, and the sky was filled with dazzling lights. Endless clouds surged like waves. Everyone kept retreating, because they could not withstand the aftermath at all. Formations appeared in the surrounding mountains and rivers. They kept flickering and resisting the terrifying energy storm. A pitch-black hole appeared in the sky at the center. It gradually expanded, as if it was going to devour the entire space. Crack! 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 Under everyone's shocked gaze, cracks appeared on the heaven-piercing finger, and quickly spread throughout it. Crack! Finally, it exploded into pieces with a crisp sound. What? The attack of the Almighty was blocked. How is that possible? Everyone was stunned. They could not believe it at all. The Thousand Thunder Saint Sun and Tuoba Tianxi even widened their eyes. Especially the Thousand Thunder Saint Sun. He was a saint, but even he could not compete with the true Almighty. But now, a nameless kid in front of him had blocked the attack of the Almighty. That was the Almighty with extraordinary means. His strength was at least at the level of a 7-star king. He was definitely above everyone else. Even so, he was still blocked. In the air, the purple-clothed Almighty's face was gloomy. This scene was also beyond his expectations. Bang! 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 Lin Xian kept retreating. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. He was injured by this attack. However, he had also blocked that terrifying finger. However, he still looked up to the sky and laughed. What Almighty? You're just Esozo. If you dare to stop me today, I'll kill you all the same. Lin Xian's cold voice resounded in all directions. It was as if he was the god of death. Humph! You're courting death. The purple-clothed Almighty was furious. He did not use his full strength in the previous attack. In his opinion, the other party was just an ant that was not worthy of his full strength. But now the other party was so arrogant. He even provoked him. He could not stand it, so he decided to kill the other party again. Boom! He flicked 2 fingers, which turned into a huge flood dragon that hovered in the air. It formed a terrifying energy storm that charged toward Lin Xian. This attack was too terrifying. It was so powerful that it could kill any expert below the Almighty. Boom! Lin Xian roared as the great dragon sword soul in his body circulated to the extreme. He waved the demonic sword to resist. There was another earth-shattering explosion. Then, the two flood dragons were shattered. However, Lin Xian's body was also sent flying thousands of miles away. What? It shattered again. Everyone was stunned. If the previous time was a coincidence, and the Almighty did not use his full strength, how could they explain this time? Although Lin Xian was sent flying and injured, he did not die. This meant that the other party was able to fight against the Almighty. Thinking of this, they could not believe it. Ha 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 ha, you want to kill me? Impossible. Lin Xian sneered. His black hair fluttered in the wind. The black armor on his body emitted a cold light. It was this armor that blocked most of the Almighty's attack. Almighty! How arrogant! Then you can try to take my sword. Lin Xian blocked 2 consecutive attacks from the Almighty, and finally decided to take the initiative to attack. What? He's going to attack the Almighty? Heavens, is he crazy? What a reckless guy. Does he really think that he can fight against the Almighty, just because he blocked 2 attacks from the Almighty? Just wait and see. He will definitely be killed. The people of the 5th lineage snorted. In the crowd, Tuoba Tianxi and the Thousand Thunder Saint gritted their teeth, because they could not accept the fact that the other party was stronger than them. Buzz! On Lin Xian's side, the Dragon Sword Realm was displayed. Tens of thousands of sword lights quickly gathered. Then they merged with the demonic sword. Then he slashed out with his sword. The shocking sword light flashed in the air, and turned into a light wave that quickly rushed toward the Almighty. You overestimate yourself. The Almighty in purple sneered disdainfully with a trace of contempt in his eyes. He did not think that the other party could really fight against him, so he stretched out his palm and grabbed forward. Chapter 1956. However, when he felt the sharp sword light, his expression finally changed. Because this sword light was too sharp, it made him feel a sense of pain. Poof! The sword light flashed, and then blood spurted out and dripped into the void. The palm of the mighty figure in purple was cut open, revealing deep white bones. Ah, damn it! The mighty figure in purple was furious. He clenched his fist and crushed the shocking sword light. However, he was still injured. The wound on his palm could not be healed at all. There was still the remnant aura of the great dragon sword soul on it. He really injured the mighty figure. Seeing the bloody scene, the surrounding people were all stunned. What kind of person was this? He was too fierce. The people of the 5th lineage could not believe it. As for the myriad Thunder Sage and Tuoba Tianxi, they trembled and almost fell from the sky. This kind of strength had definitely surpassed them. Kid, you have completely angered me. The mighty figure in purple looked ferocious. Being injured by an ant made him lose face. Therefore, in the next moment, he roared and his aura suddenly erupted. A terrifying light flashed around him, and then flames gushed out from the sky, forming an extremely terrifying scene. Boom! 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 Golden light flashed, and then golden lotuses quickly appeared in the void with monstrous flames. They were like divine spears shining brightly. The sky was full of golden lotuses, like golden flames floating in the air, covering the entire sky. Domain, this is the mighty figure's domain. He actually used his own domain. It seemed that the mighty figure in purple wanted to kill Lin Xian. He wanted to kill him in one move. Kid, go to hell. The mighty figure in purple sneered and waved his hand. Suddenly, countless golden lotuses in the sky turned into golden sword rainbows and rushed toward Lin Xian. Looking at the golden lotuses in the sky, Lin Xian's expression was grave. This attack made him feel that his life was in danger. He did not dare to be careless, and raised his combat strength to the extreme. The great dragon sword soul rotated quickly in his body, emitting a cold light. Not only that, sword chi quickly appeared on the surface of the black armor, forming a sword chi battle armor. The double layer of defense greatly increased Lin Xian's defensive capabilities. This time, Lin Xian gripped the 9 Hell Devil sword with both hands. The pitch-black demonic sword shone with an icy cold radiance. Soon after, it expanded rapidly and eventually turned into a demonic sword that was 1,000 feet long. Chop! The 100-meter-long giant sword slashed down, and the terrifying power and the attack intertwined in the air. The entire sky was completely blown apart. The dazzling golden lotuses were also impacted. The two collided and destroyed each other. However, there were simply too many golden lotuses. Many of them still managed to get close to Lin Xian. Boom! Boom! The golden lotus and Lin Xian's sword chi collided with each other, creating a dazzling light. Then, the golden lotus tore apart the sword chi and smashed onto the black battle armor. Immediately, Lin Xian spat out large mouthfuls of blood. His body flew out. Seeing this, Morong Qingqing exclaimed with deep concern in her eyes. Meanwhile, the myriad Thunder Saint, Tuoba Tianxi, and the people of the fifth bloodline laughed maniacally. They knew that Lin Xian was doomed this time. However, Lin Xian roared. Golden runes shone in his eyes, making him look mysterious. His body suddenly erupted, forming a dragon-shaped sword shadow to protect his body. At this moment, Lin Xian's aura increased again. Damn it! Impossible! This kid is still severely injured. How can his strength still increase? The people of the fifth bloodline looked as if they had seen a ghost. They could not believe it. The others were also stunned, because this scene was completely beyond their understanding. Only the dark red divine dragon laughed wildly. Ha 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 ha, the dragon soul has been activated. What a blessing in disguise. Kid, let's fight. Let them know the power of the great dragon sword soul. Sure enough, the great dragon sword soul appeared and circled around Lin Xian's body. It kept extending. In the end, it even covered the demonic sword and Lin Xian's arm completely. At this moment, Lin Xian looked extraordinary. A true dragon coiled around his body, and its powerful aura tore the sky and the earth. The golden lotuses around him were also blasted away in an instant. Many of them were directly split by the sword chi. This kind of majestic scene shocked everyone. In the air, a large area of golden lotuses were destroyed. The terrifying sword chi rushed through the entire sky, and quickly attacked the mighty figure in purple. Humph! The mighty figure in purple snorted. He did not expect that not only was his opponent not dead, but his combat strength had also increased. Even he was shocked by this combat strength. In the next moment he clapped his palms. The purple palm shadows were like two purple mountains, swaying rapidly in the air. They blasted onto the sword chi. Boom! 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 Many of the sword chi were slapped away. However, the mighty figure in purple was also shocked. Because his arm was already numb from the shock, the power of this sword chi was much stronger than before. Even he had to deal with it carefully. Kill! Lin Xian roared. The nine-nether demonic sword in his hand expanded once more, becoming a giant sword that was thousands of feet long. Then it mercilessly slashed down. In the sky, a huge true dragon phantom was formed, and it quickly swept out. Pung! This time, the mighty figure in purple was finally sent flying. The void shattered. The mighty figure in purple was sent flying, leaving behind a pool of blood in the sky. As for the surrounding crowd, they were all stunned. Heavens, what did they just see? A puny little king sent a mighty figure flying. This is really too shocking. Ah, damn it, I'm going to kill you. The mighty figure in purple flew over from afar, and instantly arrived in front of Su Xiaoshou. The baleful aura on his body soared to the sky. He was like a killing god. But at the same time, the other two mighty figures could no longer watch. They took a step forward and formed a triangle, firmly surrounding Lin Xian. Brat, it's over. Although you're very strong and have heaven-defying talent, you're too stupid. The All Beginnings Holy Land is not something you can provoke. So what if you're strong? Since ancient times, there has never been a lack of geniuses. It's just that the number of geniuses that can survive is few and far between. You're also nothing. The three mighty figures' voices were ice-cold. Their killing intent formed a cage that enveloped Lin Xian. In the next moment, the three of them attacked together. Their powerful strength instantly caused the sky to explode. No! Morong Qingqing cried out in alarm. She wanted to rush forward and rescue Lin Xian. However, she was stopped by an elder of the Jade Lake Holy Land. There were three mighty figures in front of her. With their berserk auras, even Morong Qingqing wouldn't be able to do anything if she rushed forward. Instead, she might be killed. Damn it! Lu Mingyu's complexion turned gloomy as she saw this. After all, Lin Xian had helped her a lot. She didn't expect that he would be killed now. Ha 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 ha, this brat was so arrogant. Now he's finally dead. He dares to oppose my fifth bloodline. He's truly reckless. Chapter 1957. How dare you go against the fifth branch? You're courting death. The warriors from the fifth branch sneered. Ha 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 ha, this brat was so arrogant. Now he's finally dead. How dare you go against the fifth branch? You're courting death. The warriors from the fifth branch sneered. Humph. In the distance, Tuoba Tianxi and the Thousand Thunder Sage also revealed a ferocious look. Great, this brat is finally dead. Otherwise, the fact that he was still alive would be a huge pressure to them. Boom. However, at this moment, a low voice suddenly came from the huge energy storm and black hole in front of them. Then, more and more cracks appeared in the space, like a spider web crawling into the distance. Accompanying it was a terrifying aura, as if a peerless divine beast had crawled out of the black hole. What's going on? Why do I feel uneasy? The elders from the fifth branch looked extremely solemn. Their hearts were pounding, as if the thing in front of them was a huge threat to them. Not to mention these people, even the three Almighties frowned. They also felt a chill run down their spines. Boom! In the next moment, a huge burst of energy erupted, and a powerful storm swept in all directions. Then the black hole, terrifying cracks, and dazzling light all over the sky were blasted away. A pitch-black, quaint spaceship was suspended in the sky. It was covered with sword marks and saber scars, and there was a strong desolate aura around it. What's that? Everyone looked at the pitch-black spaceship in shock. It's a spirit boat. Yes, it's a spirit boat, but it doesn't look like an ordinary one. The aura on it is too strange. Why does it seem like an ancient object? At this moment, everyone stared in front of them bewildered. The three Almighties frowned even more. As Almighties, their perception was more certain. That hair-raising and heart-pounding feeling from before had come from this black spirit boat. Humph. The attack of three Almighties is nothing more than this. At this moment, a cold voice came from the black spirit boat. Hearing this voice, many people were stunned because they were very familiar with this voice. It was Lin Xian's voice. What? How is that possible? That brat is not dead. Damn it, I don't believe it. That's the attack of three Almighties. Even a top saint wouldn't be able to withstand it. How could he possibly withstand it? Not to mention a saint. Even an Almighty would not be able to withstand the combined attack of three Almighties. The people of the fifth branch were going crazy. The surrounding people were also discussing animatedly, their faces full of shock. Damn it, could it be that there's something wrong with that spirit boat? In the next moment, everyone stared at the black spirit boat in front of them. Tuoba Tianxi and the 10,000 lightning holy sons' faces twisted. Ouyang Mingfei, Huang Fuqian, and even Lu Mingyue were shocked. As for Morong Qingqin, she let out a sigh of relief as a smile appeared on her face. He recognized that black spaceship. It was the Black Earth. Previously, she had taken the Black Earth ship with Lin Xian from the Sky Martial continent to the True Spirit continent. Morong Qingqin knew a little about the terror of the Black Earth. However, it required too much energy to activate it. She did not expect that Lin Xian would be able to activate it now. Inside the Black Earth ship, Lin Xian was wearing battle armor, his face somewhat pale. A dark red divine dragon stood in front of him, and Black Earth floated beside it. There was a small formation in front of him. Two divine crystals were embedded in a groove, flickering with light. Even if Lin Xian was strong, he would not be able to withstand the combined attack of three Almighties. Unless he became a true Almighty. However, he was only a 5-star king now. Therefore, at the critical moment, Lin Xian activated the Black Earth ship. With the powerful defense of the Black Earth ship, the attacks of the three Almighties naturally could not cause any harm to it. Outside, the three Almighties' expressions were incomparably cold. Their gazes were like sharp blades as they stared at the Black Earth ship in front of them. The three exchanged glances, and attacked again in the next moment. They could not tolerate an ant daring to be so arrogant in front of them. Ice River roar. The purple-clothed Almighty roared towards the sky. Boundless icy aura burst forth from his body, forming a storm that filled the sky, as if it was going to freeze the entire world. The terrifying ice storm quickly rushed towards the Black Earth ship. Doomsday banishment. Another Almighty waved his hands, creating a mysterious trajectory. Suddenly, the void was torn apart, and countless huge lightning bolts descended, drowning the Black Earth ship. The lightning bolts were powerful as they continuously attacked the Black Earth ship. The terrifying energy drowned the front. Sword of the Wind God. The third Almighty roared. The wind that filled the sky condensed in his hand, turning into a long sword of wind. It was 100 feet long, and then it slashed down, ruthlessly slashing the Black Earth ship. Clang! 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 A deafening sound rang out. The void in front of them split open again, and a huge crack appeared. It was like a giant beast that devoured the sky, completely swallowing the Black Earth ship. Humph! The three Almighties snorted coldly, and their eyes flickered as they looked forward. Behind them, the people from the fifth lineage sneered. It's time for him to die. I don't believe that he can resist. There's no way he can resist. No one can resist the full strength of three Almighties. Many people revealed ferocious expressions, but in the next moment, they were all stunned. Even the three Almighties were dumbfounded, as if they couldn't believe it. The huge black hole in front of them quickly disappeared, and the terrifying crack gradually healed. All the energy storm dissipated, and there, the black ship floated in the void, exactly the same as before. There wasn't even a trace of a scar on it. How is this possible? Everyone subconsciously shook their heads, thinking that their eyes were playing tricks on them. They rubbed their eyes hard, and found that it was really so. The three terrifying attacks didn't even leave a trace of a scar on the spirit ship. Damn it, how is this possible? That was the full strength attack of three Almighties. Impossible. What grade is this spirit ship? How can it be so strong? Even a top-grade Earth-grade spirit ship doesn't have such a defense, right? For a moment, everyone was dumbfounded. In the Black Earth ship, Lin Xian snorted coldly. Hey two, can we attack? These three old fools were too despicable. With the current number of divine crystals, we can attack, but it's only one attack. After one attack, the energy will be extinguished, and we won't be able to leave even if we want to. Isn't there a formation? Open the formation, and absorb the energy from the outside world. We can absorb the energy from the outside world, but it can only maintain the balance. He-Tu shook his head, but then said, although the Black Earth ship can't be used as a mechanic, it's not impossible to kill Almighties. Chapter 1958. Hearing Lin Xian's words, He-Tu shook his head. But then he said, although the Black Earth can't attack, it's not impossible to kill a supreme being. Oh, you have another method? Lin Xian was surprised. What method? He asked. If he could kill a supreme being, that would be great. He could kill the other party's arrogance. Of course. Don't forget, there are still many powerful corpses in the Black Earth. Those were the corpses of invincible kings. They were incomparably terrifying. If he could stimulate their killing intent, even a supreme being wouldn't be able to withstand it. Is it easy to operate? Lin Xian asked. No problem, but he would need to waste some divine crystals. He-Tu said. You just need to set up an array formation and guide it. Okay. Lin Xian nodded. He still had a lot of divine crystals in his hands, so he could kill one or two supreme beings. He was furious. These three supreme beings were taking advantage of their seniority to attack him with all their strength. Fortunately, he had the Black Earth. Otherwise, he would be in danger today. Now that he had a chance to take revenge, he had to take it. In the next moment, Lin Xian's cold voice sounded again, echoing in the entire space. All beginnings holy land? What a big deal. Three mighty figures are chasing after a mere king. You guys are really shameless. You guys are shameless to the extreme. However, do you really think that I'm easy to bully? Today, I'll go against the heavens and kill a supreme being. As soon as he spoke, the three Almighties snorted. When they heard the last part, disdain appeared in their eyes. The cultivators of the fifth bloodline behind them discussed spiritedly, their faces full of ridicule. What did he say? He wants to kill a supreme being? What a joke! Who does he think he is? He's just relying on a spirit boat to temporarily save his life. What's there to be arrogant about? What was there to be arrogant about? Morong Qingqing couldn't bear to listen anymore. She said coldly. As far as I know, that young master is only in his 20s, and is only a 5-star king. However, his combat strength has reached the level of a saint. Moreover, he's a peak existence among the saints. Not only that, but he can even contend against mighty figures. Can you do that? Shut up if you can't do it. Hearing this, the people of the fifth bloodline lost their temper. Indeed, they were just talking. The other party's strength was stronger than their saint of all beginnings. Even in the eastern wilderness, there weren't many people of the same generation as him. Moreover, it was Morong Qingqing who said that, so they couldn't refute her. After all, Morong Qingqing was also a holy maiden. Her status was absolutely transcendent, and it was not something they could resist. Therefore, the people from the fifth bloodline could only shut their mouths, their faces dark with anger. There were even a few elders who were so angry that they vomited blood. Damn it, I'm so angry! Several elders roared towards the sky. However, at this moment, another change occurred in front of him. Up ahead, the black earth suddenly emitted a jet-black light that enveloped the purple-robed mighty figure. Whoosh! Then, the purple-robed almighty figure disappeared into the void. Damn it! What happened? The other two mighty figures were also stunned. They didn't know what had happened at all. The surrounding people were in an uproar because it happened too quickly. The purple-robed lord had disappeared in an instant. They didn't react at all. By the time they reacted, the purple-robed lord was already gone. Buzz! Inside the black earth, there was a flash of light, and the purple-robed mighty figure appeared. Boom! The purple-robed mighty figure was also very surprised. He felt that he was enveloped by a terrifying spatial power, and then his entire body disappeared. When he reappeared, he instantly activated the battle armor in his body. A set of purple armor appeared and enveloped his entire body. The next moment he looked around cautiously. When he found that he was inside the spirit ship and saw Lin Xian and the others in front of him, he immediately laughed proudly. Ha 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 ha, boy, you really don't know what's good for you. How dare you bring me here? I originally thought that if I couldn't break the spirit ship's defense, how could I deal with you? I didn't expect you to take the initiative to come to me. He was simply too happy, because the black spirit boat was too strange. The three of them couldn't even break it with their hands. He originally thought that he wouldn't be able to kill the purple-robed lord today, but he didn't expect the purple-robed lord to drag him into the spirit ship. This way, he had absolute confidence that he could kill the purple-robed lord. Humph. You still want to kill me? I'll kill you first today. Lin Xian snorted coldly, then said, Hey, too, do it. You still want to fight me? You don't know what's good for you. The purple-robed mighty figure laughed wildly. He lowered his palm and was about to charge over. However, Heitu quickly cast a formation. Suddenly, countless mysterious runes lit up on the ground in front of him, enveloping the purple-robed mighty figure. Not only that, but a huge figure also appeared in front of him. Retreat! At the same time, Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon quickly retreated. They came to a secret room inside the black earth and watched quietly. Humph, insignificant skill. You want to stop me with a formation? The purple-robed mighty figure looked at the runes around him and sneered in disdain. But in the next moment he was stunned. His body even began to tremble. That was because a figure appeared in front of him. A 2-meter-tall figure stood there, cold as ice like a statue. He emitted an icy aura like a god looking down on all living beings. Damn it! Who is this? There was someone else in the spirit ship? The purple-robed mighty figure was terrified, because the aura emitted by the other party made him feel a trace of fear. He had never experienced such fear before. I don't care who you are. Die! The purple-robed mighty figure roared and struck out with both palms. His terrifying palms carried a shocking force, as they blasted towards the statue-like figure in front of him. What an idiot! In the secret room, Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon sneered when they saw this scene. That was because the statue-like figure was none other than the corpse of an invincible king. Such an invincible king was extremely terrifying. Even though he was dead, his aura was still terrifying. It was definitely not something an ordinary mighty figure could withstand. Boom! Sure enough, in the next moment, the purple-robed mighty figure's palm struck the invincible king's corpse, making a sonorous sound. His palm did not cause any damage at all, but it stimulated the murderous aura in the invincible king's body. Buzz buzz buzz. Countless murderous auras surged out like a flood, turning into divine rainbows that pierced in all directions. Poof! The purple-robed mighty figure was the first to bear the brunt. Chapter 1959. Immediately, the armor on the purple-clothed mighty figure shone with a dazzling light. However, it was useless. Those divine rainbows instantly pierced through the purple-clothed mighty figure's body like cutting beams. Damn it, how is this possible? The purple-clothed mighty figure's eyes widened. He looked at the dozen or so wounds on his body in shock. What kind of attack could kill him in an instant? Who was that figure in front of him? Why was he even more terrifying than a peerless mighty figure? Plop! The purple-clothed mighty figure fell to the ground before he could figure it out. In front of this murderous aura, the purple-clothed mighty figure was killed without any ability to resist. Inside the secret chamber, Lin Xian also gasped. These invincible kings were too terrifying. They had been dead for so long, but the murderous aura in their bodies was still so terrifying. He really wondered how powerful they were when they were alive. Moreover, this was only a king. It was said that there were saints above kings, and above saints were unparalleled emperors. How terrifying was the combat strength of a great emperor? It was simply unimaginable. It wasn't until a long time later that the murderous aura in the hall disappeared. Meanwhile, He Tu activated the array formation and moved the corpse of the invincible king away. In the next moment, Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon walked out. They looked at the purple-clothed mighty figure's corpse and sneered. Then, Lin Xian took off the purple-clothed mighty figure's storage ring. Outside, everyone was panicking, because some time had passed. The purple-clothed mighty figure still hadn't appeared, which made them a little worried. However, one of the mighty figures spoke. Don't worry, no matter how strong that kid is, it's impossible for him to kill a mighty figure. He doesn't have that strength at all. That's right. The strength of a mighty figure is incomparably terrifying. Furthermore, the purple-clothed mighty figure has a powerful armor and many secret techniques and treasures in his hands. He can definitely protect himself. He might even succeed in killing the other party. Hearing these words, the people of the fifth lineage heaved a sigh of relief. Then they all sneered. That's right, who does that kid think he is? How dare he fight against a mighty figure? Just wait, he'll be killed soon. Discussions broke out one after another. However, at this moment, the void fluctuated and a figure appeared. He appeared. Everyone was extremely excited as they looked over. Then, the void cracked open, and a purple figure appeared. It was the purple-robed mighty figure from before. However, the mighty figure in purple no longer had any signs of life. There were dozens of bowl-sized wounds on his body. Terrifying blood dripped down from the void. What? How is this possible? When everyone saw this scene, their scalps went numb. They couldn't believe it. As for the two almighties, they cried out in alarm. Like lightning, they arrived in front of the purple-robed mighty figure. In the next moment, he extended his soul spirit and carefully inspected it. Soon they screamed, "Killed! This is impossible!" What? He was killed. The people of the fifth bloodline went crazy, and the surrounding people were even more terrified. A mighty figure was killed. This was truly a shocking matter. Moreover, he had been killed by a 5-star king. No matter how he listened to it, it sounded like a fantasy story, an impossible thing. But now it had truly appeared before them. Impossible, this is absolutely impossible. I must be dreaming. The fifth bloodline's elder went mad, unable to accept this. Damn it, how is this possible? That's a mighty figure. How could that kid kill him? The other disciples of the fifth bloodline also shouted crazily, as if they had gone mad. This can't be true. The Thousand Thunder Saint and Tuoba Tianxi also kept shaking their heads with a trace of horror in their eyes. Not to mention them, even Lu Mingyue was shocked. Morong Qingcheng's beautiful eyes widened. Even the elders of the 5 great sage bloodlines next to her were all stunned. Because this scene was simply too shocking. A mighty figure was beyond ordinary kings, and was abnormally powerful. Below the mighty figure level, very few people could kill a mighty figure. But now, the young man in front of them had done it. Moreover, the other party was only a 5-star king. This was simply too shocking. Ah, damn it, kid, I'm going to kill you. Among them, a green-robed mighty figure roared crazily. His gaze was like a sharp blade as he slashed forward. He stared at the black spirit boat. Kill me? Okay, I'll give you this chance. Lin Xian's cold voice came from the spirit boat. In the next moment, a black light turned into a shocking lightning bolt, and instantly enveloped the green-robed mighty figure. Buzz! In an instant, the green-robed mighty figure's body also disappeared into the void. Seeing this scene, the people of the 5th bloodline were extremely nervous. Because when the purple-robed mighty figure was killed earlier, he had disappeared into thin air. When he came out, he had already become a corpse. Now that the green-robed mighty figure was also enveloped, who knew what the consequences would be? They did not dare to imagine. The surrounding martial artists and the people of the 5 great sage bloodlines also held their breaths. Because if the green-robed mighty figure was killed, it would pierce through the heavens. A 5-star king killing 2 mighty figures in a row. This would definitely be a big event that would shock the entire eastern wilderness. Everyone waited nervously. Not long after, a green figure appeared in the void. It was the green-robed mighty figure from before. What? He's killed again. When everyone saw this scene, they were all stunned. The people of the 5th bloodline were so angry that they vomited blood. Their faces darkened as they roared crazily. That was because the green-robed mighty figure was also killed. No. Who can tell me what's going on? The people of the 5th bloodline roared crazily. The others were also dumbfounded. To be able to kill 2 almighties in a row, what kind of technique was that? Unless it was a peerless mighty figure. Could it be that there was a peerless mighty figure in this spirit boat? Thinking of this, they were extremely terrified. Whoosh! The last surviving mighty figure turned into a bolt of lightning and fled into the distance. Because he did not dare to stay here any longer. If he was hit by a black light, he would also disappear. Once he entered the spirit boat, one could imagine his fate. It would definitely be very miserable. Therefore he still fled in advance. Haha, what mighty figure! What a piece of trash! Seeing that the other party had fled, Lin Xian sneered disdainfully. The scalps of the surrounding people went numb. And the people of the 5th bloodline were so angry that they vomited blood. Shameful, this was too shameful. This was their sacred ground, their main battlefield, and they had sent out 3 mighty figures. But they could not do anything to the other party. Even the 2 mighty figures on their side were killed by the other party. This was definitely a shocking slap in the face, and it made them speechless. Damn that kid, he's too strange. There must be something incredible in this spirit boat. Hurry up and invite the peerless mighty figure of the 5th bloodline. Many people exclaimed. Especially the people of the 5th bloodline, they were really crazy. Because now, ordinary mighty figures could not suppress the situation at all. They had to invite a peerless mighty figure to kill the other party. From the looks of it, the peerless almighty probably couldn't reach Lin Xian's level when he was 24 years old. At this moment, an elder of the 5th bloodline sneered. You're powerful now, but so what? A genius who hasn't grown up is nothing in the end. Who knows if you can live to 3,000 years old? What's the point of saying so much? Let me ask you, can you reach my combat power when you're 24 years old? Seeing that the elder was silent, Lin Xian sneered. If you can't, then I don't know what you have to be so arrogant about. I started practicing martial arts when I was 15 years old, and am 24 years old now. It's been less than 10 years. I started from the very beginning, and now I can fight against a mighty. It's only been less than 10 years. I'm confident that I won't need 3,000 years. Give me another 10 years. and it'll become a peerless almighty. By then it'll kill you as easily as killing a dog. What? Started at 15 years old, and now it's been less than 10 years? Heavens, how is that possible? Bulsh asterisk T. He must be Bulsh asterisk Ting. Even the saints and saintesses of the great sage land, and the peerless prodigies of the clan of the ancients, couldn't have started practicing martial arts when they were 15 years old. Furious roars sounded from the surroundings. They simply did not believe Lin Xian's words. Even the top prodigies of the eastern wilderness usually started practicing martial arts when they were 5 or 6 years old. Even the peerless prodigies of the clan of the ancients were soaked in all sorts of heavenly treasures and peerless spiritual medicines when they were born. They had built a solid foundation since they were young. There were even peerless almighties who unblocked their meridians. It could be said that they started practicing martial arts from the moment they were born. In addition, those prodigies had incredible talent and top-notch resources. That was why these prodigies were able to shine in their 20s and 30s. They had great power that surpassed the older generation. Even so, they had cultivated for 20 to 30 years, or even 40 to 50 years. However, the young man in front of them had started practicing martial arts when he was 15 years old, and now he was 24 years old. It hadn't even been 10 years. He had surpassed most of the prodigies. That was just too unbelievable, because they had never heard of such a thing before. Moreover, what shocked them even more was that the young man had said that he would become a peerless almighty within 10 years. How was that possible? Compared to the young man who started practicing martial arts when he was 15 years old, his combat power was even more incredible. A peerless almighty was an extremely terrifying existence. Didn't they see that the peerless almighty in front of them was already 3,200 years old? He had cultivated for more than 3,000 years to become a peerless almighty. Chapter 1961. Disdainful voices rang out one after another. Even Tuoba Tianxi and the 10,000 lightning saint's son revealed mocking expressions. This person had actually cultivated to become a peerless almighty in 10 years? What an idiot! However, Lin Xian coldly said, "Do you dare to reveal your name? Within 10 years, I will personally pay a visit to the All Beginnings Holy Land and kill you." As soon as these words were spoken, the world lost its color and the winds changed. Endless gales swept up as sword energy pierced through the world. This terrifying scene caused the surrounding people's expressions to change. In their opinion, this person was too arrogant. However, this person did have the qualifications to be arrogant. This aura was no weaker than that of a true almighty. It was definitely the combat strength of a peak saint. Moreover, this person's origin was extremely mysterious. Even now, they still didn't know what sect he was from. What sort of background did he have? However, the peerless almighty sneered disdainfully. His eyes were filled with contempt. This was because as a peerless almighty, he knew how difficult and terrifying it was to become a peerless almighty. Although he wasn't a saint in the past, he was still a peak genius. He had spent nearly 2,000 years to become a peerless almighty. Moreover, he had been stuck in the realm of peerless almighty for 1,000 years. He was still unable to break through. 3,000 years was an extremely long period of time. Moreover, according to what he knew, even saints and saintesses would need several hundred years to become peerless almighty. Yet this person wanted to use 10 years to become a peerless almighty? This was simply a fantasy. Brett, you are too ignorant. Once you cultivate further, you will understand how difficult it is to become a peerless almighty. As for this old man's name, I can tell you. I am called Daoish Qinji. I will accept this agreement. I will wait for you to kill me within 10 years. However, whether or not you can make it out alive is another matter. After saying this, the peerless almighty sneered and stretched out his palm. Suddenly, a terrifying light soared into the sky, piercing through the entire sky. A huge palm of light instantly grabbed at the black earth. Damn it! Old man! Too shameless. In the distance, Morong Qingqing and Lu Mingyi's expressions changed when they saw this scene. This was because they did not expect this peerless almighty to suddenly make a move. Moreover, there were no signs at all. It was too sudden. The others were also stunned. Then an uproar broke out. The fifth bloodline's people cried out in alarm, laughing loudly. It was because they knew that as long as an exceptional power took action, the other party would definitely die. Daring to go against my fifth bloodline. This is your fate. Cold laughter could be heard. In front of them, a huge palm of light emitted a terrifying power that enveloped the black earth. Boom! Boom! At the next moment, a terrifying sound was heard as the void in front of him exploded. An incomparably dark black hole rapidly expanded. That place was filled with violent storms. It was exceptionally terrifying. Even an almighty wouldn't dare to touch it. You're just an ant. You want to become a mighty figure in 10 years? What a joke. The peerless almighty snorted in disdain. Then he turned around and was about to leave. However, in the next moment he was stunned. A shocked expression even appeared on his face. The reason for that was because an ice-cold voice sounded from the black hole. Damned old man, he'll remember you. What? He's fine. Everyone was stunned. How could the other party not be dead? How was that possible? That was an attack from a peerless almighty. That palm should have killed even an almighty. However, the other party was still alive. It was too unbelievable. No, that's impossible. I don't believe it. Heavens, what's going on? The fifth bloodline's people shouted frantically. This result was too shocking. They couldn't accept it. Even the peerless almighty's expression changed. That was because this result was also beyond his expectations. Impossible. That was his first reaction, because he was very confident in his own strength. No matter how powerful the other party's spirit boat was, it couldn't withstand it. However, what was going on now? He couldn't understand. In the next moment, he turned his head, and his gaze pierced through the void as he looked ahead. Buzz! He saw a black spirit boat quickly appear in the black hole. It still emitted an ancient aura. There were no changes. What? It's fine. Everyone's eyeballs almost fell out of their sockets. The peerless almighty's body was also trembling slightly. That was because the spirit boat was completely fine. That was too unbelievable. Damn it, I don't believe it. The peerless almighty was furious and prepared to attack again. However, at that moment Lin Xian said coldly, "Old man, just you wait. Within 10 years, I will personally come and take your life." With that, the black earth shone brightly and disappeared into the void. Boom! The moment the black earth disappeared, the huge palm of light slammed down again, shattering the void once more. Immediately, the black hole became even larger, and even spread in all directions. It completely swallowed some mountain ranges in the sky. That palm was even more terrifying than before. However, it didn't have any effect at all. That was because the black earth had already broken through the void and disappeared. Search for him. 10,000 miles, 100,000 miles, 1,000,000 miles. Search all of them. We can't let that kid leave. The peerless almighty roared crazily. His face was abnormally ferocious. Immediately, the warriors of the fifth bloodline behind him quickly rose into the air and searched in all directions. That was because the peerless almighty was simply too shocked. That spirit boat of his opponents was incomparably strange. It was actually able to withstand the attack of a peerless almighty. Without a doubt, it was an incomparably heaven-defying treasure. Furthermore, what shocked him even more was the other party's talent. The other party had cultivated for less than 10 years, yet he had already reached the peak of the Holy Suns. He was definitely a terrifying monster. If the other party was allowed to continue cultivating like this, he would definitely become a peerless almighty one day. Furthermore, that wouldn't take too long. He estimated that it would only take him 100 years. That was because such a monster's cultivation speed was extremely fast. Furthermore, the further he progressed, the faster his cultivation speed would surpass that of other kings. Therefore, he would most likely become a peerless almighty in 100 years. Chapter 1962. In the sky, one figure after another quickly set off. It wasn't just the fifth bloodline. In the end, the entire All Beginnings Holy Land was alarmed. The other cultivators also quickly received the order and prepared to search for Lin Xian. Lin Xian's talent was too terrifying. It was enough to threaten the entire Holy Land. Lin Xian was actually this terrifying. In the crowd, Lu Mingya's eyes flickered. She had never imagined that Lin Xian would be so terrifying. However, this wasn't necessarily a bad thing for her. With such a powerful ally, she would probably receive a lot of support in the Holy Land in the future. Thinking of this, the corners of her mouth curled up in a smile. She also secretly transmitted her voice to the 7th bloodline, telling them not to search for Lin Xian. As for the people from the other 5 great sage lands, they were completely stunned. This was because Lin Xian's performance had completely exceeded their expectations. This was especially true for Tuoba Tianxi, the 10,000 Lightning Saint Sun, and the others. Lin Xian's strength and talent had already far surpassed theirs. Although they were also prodigies, compared to Lin Xian, they paled in comparison. The other holy sons and holy daughters also had grave expressions. As for the elder-level people, they were all frowning. Such a person could be said to be a peerless prodigy. If he were to mature, he would definitely become a powerful enemy on their path to becoming a great emperor. Morong Qingqing breathed a sigh of relief, and a smile appeared on her exquisite face. Now that Lin Xian was able to leave, she was also relieved. On the other side, Lin Xian controlled the Black Earth and directly jumped through the void, arriving several 100,000 miles away. Then with a few more jumps, he arrived 1,000,000 miles away. After that, the Black Earth entered the vast mountains below and hid. Whoosh! It was only now that Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Lin Xian didn't plan on leaving immediately. After all, the impact of this matter was too great. It would definitely shake the entire southern region. It might even cause a storm in the entire eastern wasteland. Thus, it was best for him to enter seclusion and cultivate here. He would come out after the storm passed. He had consumed 6 divine crystals. He only had 3 left. How to use these 3 pieces was a problem. At this moment, He Tu floated over and said, "Kid, if you don't plan on directly absorbing the energy in these 3 divine crystals, I have another way. I'll give you a special benefit." Special benefits? What benefits? Lin Xian asked. Not only is the Black Earth's defense powerful, there are also various training grounds. One of them is called the 0-degree space. It's incomparably magical. It can condense people who are exactly the same as you to fight. Exactly the same? Lin Xian was surprised. Exactly the same? Yes, that's right. Combat awareness, your cultivation base, and experience in fighting above your level. Everything is the same. He Tu continued. Fighting with an exact copy of yourself and feeling the limits of life and death will definitely bring you great benefits. However, opening that null space requires divine crystals. No problem. Is 3 enough? Lin Xian thought for a moment and said without any hesitation. Fighting with an identical version of himself was definitely a very precious experience, because this way, he could make up for his shortcomings. Find out where he needed to improve. He Tu took the 3 pieces of divine crystals and floated inside. Not long after, the entire Black Earth trembled slightly. Then a black light enveloped Lin Xian. In the next moment, Lin Xian felt the world spinning. The surrounding scenery completely changed. It was as if he had jumped out of the Black Earth and arrived in a special space. His surroundings were gray, and he couldn't see the limits of this space. However, with Lin Xian's senses, it could support him to fight with all his strength. Buzz! At this moment, the space in front of him fluctuated, and a figure appeared. Seeing this person, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. This person looked exactly the same as him. His clothes, hair, eyes, and temperament were all the same. If one didn't know better, they would think that another him had appeared. Seeing an enemy who was exactly the same as him, Lin Xian felt a burst of excitement. The spiritual power in his body quickly circulated, and sword chi rushed out of his body, turning into a shocking sword light that slashed forward. See God Ice. It's useless. I can do it too. In front of him, the enemy who looked exactly like Lin Xian said in a deep voice. As he spoke, endless cold air gushed out of his body, turning into a blue ice sword that also slashed forward. Sea God Ice versus Sea God Ice. The two huge ice swords collided. The air shook violently, and invisible cold air exploded. In this exchange, the two of them were evenly matched, sharing the limelight. Yes, it's exactly the same. Lin Xian was astonished when he sensed the other party's strength and the terrifying icy aura. Sea God Ice was an ice treasure that he had obtained with great difficulty. He didn't expect the opponent to be able to simulate it. And the power was exactly the same. This 0-degree space was really amazing. It could actually simulate such a realistic enemy. Lin Xian was extremely excited. Then he clenched his left hand into a fist and punched out. Apocalyptic Black Dragon Fist. Boom! However, at the same time, the enemy's mouth curled into a sinister smile. At the same time, his fist turned into a black dragon and rushed out. Armageddon Black Dragon Fist. The terrifying fist turned into a ferocious black dragon, and a destructive aura floated between heaven and earth. Not only was the Armageddon Black Dragon Fist exactly the same, but even the timing and angle of the attack were exactly the same. In other words, not only could the opponent simulate Lin Xian's strength, but he could also simulate Lin Xian's combat experience. Boom! 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 Roar! In the sky, the two black dragons collided, and sparks flew everywhere. Thunder fell, and a loud dragon roar resounded in all directions. It was as if two real dragons were fighting each other. Whoosh! What surprised Lin Xian even more was that after the figure used the Sea God's Ice and the Armageddon Black Dragon Fist, 6 illusory figures appeared in front of him again. Each of them was formed by sword chi. They were like 6 peerless divine swords that emitted a terrifying aura. 6 God Sword Technique Chaos Doppelganger. The 2 ultimate skills were used at the same time. Then the human figure and the 6 sword phantoms quickly attacked Lin Xian. Humph! Lin Xian snorted, and also used Chaos Doppelganger and 6 God Sword Technique. At the same time, 6 sword shadows appeared beside him. Each of them was extremely sharp, as if a sword immortal had descended. Terrifying murderous intent spread in all directions. Kill! With a roar, the two collided. Countless sword chi streaked across the sky, and a destructive aura pierced through the 9 heavens. Buzz! At this moment, a huge sword light quickly condensed among the sword shadows in the sky. It was shining with a pitch-black light. The 7 people who looked exactly like him were simply heaven-defying existences. They could even easily kill Supreme Elders. However, he would not give up. In the next instant, a golden vortex appeared in his eyes. Mysterious runes appeared one after another. He activated his heavenly secret divine eyes. Buzz! After activating his heavenly secret divine eyes, Lin Xian turned into a shocking sword light and charged forward. At the front, the 7 figures snorted coldly. Every single one of them unleashed their most powerful ultimate skills to kill the other party. Sea God's Ice, 6 God Sword Techniques, Demonic Hell Flame, and the terrifying Azure Dragon True Phoenix. All kinds of illusory attacks rained down on Lin Xian, without any regard for their lives. As for Lin Xian, he used Heavenly Dragon's 8 steps to dodge the attacks. With his heavenly secret divine eyes, he was able to capture the trajectories of these attacks. He could even predict them in advance. Thus, after 3 days and 3 nights of intense battle, Lin Xian killed all 7 people who looked exactly like him. Whoosh! The wounds on his body were extremely horrifying. There were even some places where white bones could be seen. Lin Xian even felt that the power in his body was disappearing. In front of him, the void rippled and 8 figures appeared. They looked exactly like Lin Xian. Fight! Other than that, there was no need to say anything else. However, it had already been half a month since Lin Xian had started fighting. He had not rested in the middle, so he was already exhausted. Now that he was facing 8 people who looked exactly like him, he was in a very difficult battle. In the end, he killed 6 of them. However, his heart was also pierced by them. Buzz! He activated his heavenly secret divine eyes and controlled the 2 illusory figures. Then, he smashed the heads of the 2 figures with a punch. However, his body was also out of the blank space. Whoosh! Lin Xian's body swayed, and appeared in the hall of the Black Earth once again. He-2 floated up with a look of surprise. Kid, you're out? How many levels did you reach? If each figure is counted as a level, I should have reached the 8th level. The 8th level? Heavens! You're too heaven-defying. He-2 was also extremely shocked. He knew how terrifying the blank space was. Those were 8 enemies who were the same as him. How could they survive? One had to know that some people could not even defeat one of them. At most, it would be a draw. Now Lin Xian had passed 7 levels in a row, and even tied the 8th level. It was indeed a heaven-defying feat. Alright, you should rest. This time, you'll definitely benefit greatly. He-2 did not disturb Lin Xian anymore. Instead, he let him go into seclusion. Lin Xian nodded, and went into seclusion to comprehend the various intense battles before. 3 days later, a surge of energy erupted. Lin Xian successfully broke through to become a 6-star king. The great dragon sword soul in his body had also become abnormally powerful. Not only that, Lin Xian's combat experience had definitely surpassed before. Now he could completely kill Almighties alone. One had to know that half a month ago, Lin Xian could only contend against Almighties. He could not kill Almighties at all. Now, only half a month had passed, and he had the strength to kill Almighties alone. If this kind of heaven-defying growth were to spread, it would definitely make all the warriors in the eastern wilderness go crazy. In the next half a month, Lin Xian continued to consolidate his cultivation. After a month, he came out of seclusion and decided to go out and take a look. Now that he had understood the situation in the southern region, Lin Xian did not plan to stay in the southern region any longer. He wanted to leave the southern region and go to other places in the eastern wilderness. However, he did not want to fly there because it would take more than 10 years. Chapter 1964. Lin Xian wanted to use the super teleportation array. He had gradually gained an understanding of the eastern wilderness. He knew that only the remote antiquity aristocratic families and the great sage had super teleportation arrays. In the other continents of the eastern wilderness, there were also some hidden super teleportation arrays for experts to use. Lin Xian's destination this time was a hidden super teleportation array. After going out, Lin Xian asked around and found out that there was a super teleportation array in the depths of the Thousand Spirit Mountain Range. Therefore, he decided to go to the Thousand Spirit Mountain Range. However, the Thousand Spirit Mountain Range was not simple. It was a very famous mountain range with a radius of 1,000,000 miles. It was continuous and terrifying. There were all kinds of monster kings running amok in it. Ordinary monster kings did not dare to enter. Even Almighties sometimes did not dare to enter the depths of the Thousand Spirit Mountain Range. One could imagine how terrifying the Thousand Spirit Mountain Range was. Lin Xian's destination was the Thousand Spirit Mountain Range. He turned into a beam of sword light and disappeared from the city, flying towards the Thousand Spirit Mountain Range. In the vast barren mountains, a figure was shuttling rapidly like a ghost. This figure was naturally Lin Xian. He was flying in the Thousand Spirit Mountain Range, heading towards the Super Teleportation Array, Demon-Slaying Sword Array. Lin Xian analyzed the array in his mind as he flew at high speed. The Annihilation Sword Array was a top-notch martial art. He had found it in the storage rings of the 2 Almighties that he had killed. At this moment, he was comprehending the profound sword formation. Although the sword array was profound, it was not difficult for Lin Xian to cultivate it with his heaven-defying talent. However, this sword formation still needed some special conditions to be able to be completed. This was also why the Almighties had not used the Demon-Slaying Sword Array. To cultivate the Annihilation Sword Array, one not only needed talent and strength, but also demonic beasts. One needed to use the powerful blood essence and souls of demonic beasts to pour into the demon-slaying sword array. Only then could one cultivate it successfully. Moreover, a lot of demonic beasts were needed. Some of them were even rare demonic beasts on the heaven and earth roll. Even the purple-clothed elder, who was an almighty of the All-Beginnings Holy Land, had not collected all of them. One could imagine how difficult it was to cultivate the demon-slaying array. However, if one could successfully cultivate it, according to the description, one would possess heaven-defying might. Lin Xian didn't mind this difficulty. After all, he knew that cultivating a sword array wasn't something that could be mastered overnight. And he would not give up. Now he was flying in Wanling Mountain. When he encountered a powerful demonic beast, he would naturally attack. According to his estimation, his identity had probably been exposed. After all, those people should be able to guess it with more analysis. At that time, the people of the All Beginnings Holy Land's fifth bloodline would definitely not let him off. He was afraid that the Wavering Light Sacred Land would not let him off. He needed to have enough ability to protect himself in order to survive the siege of so many holy lands. Furthermore, there was one more thing. He had to be strong because he was going to marry Morong Qingcheng. If he did not have enough strength, the Jade Lake Sacred Ground would not have married Morong Qingcheng to him. Along the way, Lin Xian killed 13 powerful demonic beast kings. He used their blood and demonic souls as the first batch of energy to activate the demon-slaying sword array. However, there was a group of people flying rapidly on several mountain tops not far from where they were. Wanling Mountain was dangerous, but it didn't stop cultivators from yearning for this place. This was because there were all kinds of heavenly treasures, spiritual herbs in Wanling Mountain. Moreover, although the demonic beast kings were ferocious, their bodies were full of treasures. Scales, teeth, horns, and other things could be used to make weapons. Demonic cores and blood could be used for cultivation. Therefore, there would always be a large number of cultivators entering Wanling Mountain. Looking at the people moving rapidly ahead, they should be such cultivators. However, their current state wasn't good. Furthermore, they seemed to be in a very sorry state. Every one of them was injured. Their clothes were tattered, and their hair was disheveled. It was as if they had just experienced a great battle. There were two figures in the lead. One was a white-haired old man, and the other was a young woman wearing green battle armor. Based on their identities and attire, they should be the leaders of this group of cultivators. However, the young woman was also in a very sorry state at this moment. Her aura was extremely chaotic. If not for the white-haired old man's king's domain, she probably wouldn't be able to fly. "Grandpa, that bastard is almost here. What should we do?" The young woman in green used her soul power to check the situation behind her. Her delicate face turned even paler. D***minute. Why would an earth demon appear in this place? That's a powerful 7-star demon king. The young woman in green sounded like she was about to cry. It was obvious that the earth demon behind them had terrified them. The other cultivators also looked solemn. Their scalps were numb. They only cared about running forward crazily. As for the white-haired old man, his eyebrows were tightly knitted together. This earth demon beast was very difficult to deal with. Moreover, it was good at burrowing into the ground. They probably couldn't escape at all. Looking at his beloved granddaughter, the white-haired old man sighed. The light in his eyes gradually became sharp. "Schwer, bring the others and leave Wanling Mountain first. I'll stop that earth demon beast for a while. Hurry up and leave. Don't stay. Also, don't come to Wanling Mountain for a year," the white-haired old man said in a deep voice. "No, grandfather, you can't stay here." When the young woman in green heard this, she immediately shook her head frantically. The other cultivators also quickly tried to persuade the white-haired old man. Although the white-haired old man was powerful, he couldn't fight against such a powerful earth demon beast. "Don't worry. No matter what, I'm a top 6-star king. Although I can't kill that beast, it's not a problem for me to fight against it. Moreover, if it doesn't work, I have the ability to protect myself and escape." However, the young woman in green shook her head. "Grandfather, don't lie to me. Chapter 1965. They were indeed surprised because this fragrance could attract some demonic beasts and cause a huge battle. However, the other party did not care at all and allowed the fragrance to float around. It was obvious that the other party was an expert and was not afraid of attracting demonic beasts. Thinking of this, a hint of hope appeared in their eyes. "Let's go." The white-haired old man waved his hand and led the dozen or so cultivators forward quickly. The fragrance of meat and smoke in front of them became thicker and thicker. They could even see flames ahead. Moreover, there was the smell of blood and blood in the surroundings. Obviously, some demonic beasts had been killed here. The trenches on the ground were even more shocking. There was still a trace of very strong sword chi left on them. The woman in green and the other kings could not sense it. They only felt that there was a huge battle around them. However, the white-haired old man's pupils shrank, and his face was filled with shock. This was because he felt a sense of horror from the sword chi. Although he was a peak 6-star king, he could not resist at all in front of the sword chi. Even his body began to tremble slightly. Who is it? It's so terrifying. Could it be an almighty? He was extremely shocked. Meanwhile, the woman in green and the dozen or so cultivators continued to fly forward. Soon they were stunned. This was because there was indeed someone beside the fire. It was a young man in a red robe. He did not look very old, only in his 20s. At this moment, he was holding a cup of spirit wine and eating a piece of golden roasted meat with relish. Beside him was a red snake that was more than a meter long and a snow-white monkey. They were all eating golden roasted meat. This scene surprised everyone. However, when they quickly glanced at the red-robed young man, they revealed disappointed expressions. This was because the red-robed young man's aura was only that of a 6-star king. Although such a person was very powerful among the younger generation, he could not fight against the earth devil beast behind them. The woman in green and the others were extremely disappointed. Among them, someone even shook his head. "Sigh, this young man is too arrogant. He's a 6-star king, and he dares to roast meat in the forest? Isn't he afraid of attracting other powerful demon kings? He's too young. He's probably a genius disciple of some family. Although he has some talent, he has no experience in surviving in the wild." Some people shook their heads and ignored the red-robed young man. They prepared to flee for their lives again. However, at that moment, the white-haired old man arrived before them. When he saw the red-clothed young man, his body trembled. This was because he could sense a remnant sword chi from the other party's body. Could it be that those sword scars were left behind by this young man? Thinking of this, the white-haired old man was terrified. "Grandpa, let's go. There's nothing to see. He's just an expert of the younger generation. He can't provide us with any help at all." The green-clothed woman shook her head. "That's right, elder. Let's go quickly. If we stay any longer, I'm afraid that beasts will come," everyone said. However, the white-haired old man did not listen. He only looked at the red-robed man in front of him. The red-robed young man's expression was calm, and he didn't even look around. He just slowly tasted the roasted meat. The white-haired old man gritted his teeth, as if he had made a decision. Soon he walked forward. However, when he came to the side of the red-robed youth, he suddenly knelt down with a plop. "What?" The green-clothed woman and the dozen or so martial artists behind her were all stunned by this scene. They didn't expect the white-haired old man to kneel to a young man. It was too shocking. "Grandpa, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Why are you kneeling to a young man? He's not strong at all. He can't provide us with any help. Elder, let's go quickly." The martial artists behind them were puzzled. The red-robed young man in front of them also frowned, because he didn't expect the white-haired old man in front of him to kneel directly. That's right, the red-robed young man was naturally Lin Xian. He was cultivating the demon-slaying sword array, while he hurried on his way. At this moment he was resting. He naturally noticed the arrival of the dozen or so people, but he didn't pay attention to them. Because he didn't know them at all, he didn't need to pay attention to them. However, he didn't expect the old man in front of him to kneel directly. Naturally, he knew what the old man meant. Looking at their miserable expressions and the injuries on their bodies, it was obvious that they had encountered some kind of powerful demon king. There was no way for them to escape, so they could only find an expert to help them. "Young hero, please save us. Save our lives. We'll definitely repay you," the white-haired old man said in a deep voice again. "Repay? Sure, what do you have to repay me?" Lin Xian asked indifferently. "We have some supreme-grade subdivine crystals, some heaven and earth treasures, and the cores of demon beasts. As long as you're willing, you can take them all. Young hero, please help us." "What? Grandpa, are you crazy? This is something that we worked hard for over a month to get. Hearing this, the green-robed young girl screamed. They risked their lives for more than a month to get these things. Now they were going to give them all to someone else. Moreover, it was a red-robed young man who didn't look very strong. Naturally, she couldn't accept this. Shut up. The white-haired old man shouted coldly. Then, he turned around and continued. Young hero, please don't take offense. My granddaughter is inexperienced and doesn't know how powerful you are. If she offended you, I'll bring her to apologize. Well, did you get a what attribute demon core? Give it to me and I can save your lives, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Okay, thank you, young hero. I'll get it now. Hearing this, the white-haired old man was overjoyed. He quickly turned around and was about to take out the demon core. However, the green-robed young girl was still unwilling to give up. Grandpa, that what attribute demon core was hard for us to get. It's close to the demon core of a 7-star demon king. Why give it to this guy? This guy doesn't look very strong. He can't deal with the earth magic beast. It's a waste to give him the wood attribute demon core. Why don't we run away? If we're lucky, we might be able to escape. However, the white-haired old man ignored his granddaughter. Instead, he took out a fist-sized demon core that was shining with green light from his storage ring. He gave it to Lin Xian. Lin Xian took it and nodded. He said indifferently, Okay, you can go now. I'll block the danger behind you. What? We can go now. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.